Hey guys, welcome to the afternoon. Man, I'm out of breath I just mowed half the yard in 30 minutes. That was the first drink I've had since I started. Anyway, let's see. I'm trying to get my page the way I like it. All right. So, let me find here. Hey, but I got a Labrador that will not leave me alone. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put on... Actually, let's see here. Who else I got? The famous... Let's see here. He should be live now. We're going to put a little umbrella guy on.
Scream. What are my thoughts on whether Mirror will be recast and reshot? They are very much considering it. There have been emergency meetings behind the scenes that I can confirm happened. And yeah, after Walter Hamada was pulled in, it's very much a hot topic. There are discussions about cost and what that'll mean. I think it very much could happen because there were already questions about chemistry, but they went ahead and went forward with it because they thought that she would, that the costs or the doubts. All right, they're back in the courtroom now. That they would outweigh. Right. I'm bringing this up. So
no, they thought she'd win. Me too.
There were questions over whether or not that would outweigh, and then now, obviously, it's a real problem. All right, Johnny Depp is going to be back. Rotten Born. He's already flexing. You know what Amber Heard doesn't understand? Every time they release Rotten Born on Johnny Depp, he may bring up good points. He may do well there, but you know what? Every move that they make ruins her just a little bit more.
All right, this is going to be awesome. Johnny Depp, Cross.
Like there is no salvation for her career.
I'm going to go
Johnny Depp is back on Cross. Let me put this out there.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing.
Again, tell people we're live again, if you would, please. Tell everybody we're here.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Depp, I'd like to start with the honeymoon that you and Ms. Heard took in late July 2015.
Certainly.
You testify that you took a train ride from Bangkok to Singapore. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you claim that on this train ride that Ms. Heard hit you in the face, correct?
Yes.
And left a black eye, correct?
Yes.
And Michelle, could you please pull up PX 162?
Sounds like a workout, doesn't it?
Is that already in evidence?
Yes, Your
Okay.
Honor.
Published to the jury.
Thank you.
What's he eating there?
Mr. Depp, this is the picture that your counsel showed you both in your prior, or showed you this morning, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that mark under your left eye is what you claim to be a black eye caused by Ms. Heard, correct?
Seems to be there's some scratches around my nose as well.
Okay. All right, but it's your left eye, the one close to the chef. That's what you says your black eye, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that was the picture your team chose to show you, right? Let's pull up Exhibit 1905, Michelle, please.
I'm sorry, which number was it?
This is a new exhibit, Your Honor, 1905.
That's defendants.
Defendants Exhibit 1905.
Okay. Thank you.
That's all that matters, that we got Sully in and out.
Evidence.
Wait a second.
Okay. Any objection to 1905?
They're getting in a hurry.
Thank you, Cool Frog.
With the comments, we have no objection to the photograph itself. We ask the comments be redacted as hearsay.
Well, I'd like to at least question the witness about the
I have
comments?
no objection to the photograph being published.
Okay, well, let's wait a minute. Mr. Depp, you see here, these are 4 pictures of you, right?
Yes,
Yeah, and below it, they indicate that they were taken on July 24th, 2015 in Bangkok, Thailand, correct?
Objection, lack of foundation, calls for speculation.
Overruled.
You guys, let me know if you like
Bangkok,
this
so
stream
before the train ride.
or
Correct, before the
the
train ride.
Arcade
You didn't
stream.
get on the train ride until the 25th, is that right?
I somewhere in that area, I guess.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask for permission to publish this to the jury.
If it's just the photographs, we have no
All
objection.
right. You want to redact the,
If he's got a black eye before, that won't prove anything except
Sure.
she's violent and hits you a lot.
1905.
Yeah.
1905.
5, additional redaction. Sure, it'll be fine.
Can you feel those minutes ticking away? Tick, 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 Rottenborn. Tick, tick, tick.
On the bottom image.
Just redact that.
They put them up with the comments just then, didn't they? Yeah, buddy, they did. They were told to remove them, and they put them up with the comments anyway. Because I screen grabbed that.
Uh-oh. Let me switch back over. I'm trying to put this out on Twitter.
Thank you, Michelle.
All right. Publish.
Thank you, Your Honor. Michelle, could you please scroll down to the bottom 2 pictures there? Mr. Depp, in these pictures that were taken before you got on the train ride for your honeymoon, where you claim that Miss Heard hit you and gave you a black eye, you have the exact same shadow or sunburn or mark under your left eye. The exact same mark, don't you?
That's the
They run the same
you get a
clothes
side
too.
light, you see the occipital
Mhm.
bone. So that is the exact area.
Yep. And it's actually,
A side light will cause that.
yeah, well,
as
the
well.
picture's not being taken from the side, is it? It's being taken head on, isn't it?
No.
That's the best comment.
Yeah.
Light on the side.
All right, I'm going to switch
Right.
over to Arcade for
Because
Volstorm.
That occipital bone, I believe it's called,
Mhm.
to appear sunken. And-
Just like lights on the side of a train car, correct?
Objection
Well,
calls for
You
speculation.
can take that down, Michelle.
Don't
that
let
was
him.
in fact in the dark.
Let him answer.
I had a chef, I had people on either side of me, so
If you could
I
wait for the
don't
next,
see where the light fill is from the side there.
Mr. Depp, you could wait for the next question. Next question.
Next
Really
question.
sorry.
Even the picture your team chose to show you on they were taken on July 24th, 2015 in Bangkok, Thailand, correct?
Objection, lack of foundation, calls for speculation.
Overruled.
In Bangkok, Thailand, so before the train ride.
Correct. 25th, is that right?
I somewhere in that area, I guess.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask for permission to publish this to the jury.
All right. Did,
If it's just the photographs, we have no
all right.
objection.
If you want to redact the, just have the photographs in it.
Sure. We'll do 1905.
5, just with redaction. Sure, it'll be fine.
All
He's
right.
dripping with anticipation over this cross exam.
Let me put a
I don't know
little
if they cut
watermark
my
up on my
sandwich.
thing like Arcade's got.
I think there's still some on the bottom image.
It's just redacted.
Subway or Jimmy John's?
Jimmy John's.
Oh, Jimmy John's.
No Juicy Smollett business.
Subway's trash.
This
No,
is
I got
MAGA
into a
country.
fight
I,
at
don't-
Jimmy
I
John's.
can't trust it.
They said I couldn't get the gargantuan and split it. Is that not crazy? I said, can I have half of that with no mayonnaise?
Redact the
or
freaking
tomatoes?
timestamps, Rottenborn.
That's all I want.
Redact them.
It's half the work.
Why is this
part of the
taking so
sandwich.
long?
They said you're not allowed to do that because that would mean that you're sharing a sandwich, and we don't allow that in here. Honest to goodness, that's the truth. I'm like, I can't get it my way. Scammers.
Over on Rumble, Jennifer Ishio.
All right.
Damn it.
publish.
I could have.
Thank you, Your Honor. Michelle, could you please scroll down to the bottom two pictures there?
Oh, man.
Mr. Depp, in these pictures that were taken
It is
before
afternoon
you got
toddies.
on the train ride for your honeymoon, where you claim that Miss Heard hit you and gave you a black eye, you have the exact same shadow or sunburn or mark under your left eye. The exact same mark, don't you?
That's the, when you get a side light, you see the occipital bone. So that is the exact area.
Yep. And it's actually,
A side light will cause that.
yeah, well,
as
the
well.
picture's not being taken from the side, is it? It's being taken head on, isn't it?
No. The lens in front.
Yeah.
The light on the side. will cause the occipital bone, I believe it's called,
Jeez.
to
Shatter.
appear sunken. And-
Just like lights on the side of a train car, correct?
Objection
Well,
calls for
You can
speculation.
take that down, Michelle.
that was in fact in the dark.
Look at that smug look.
You go on either side of me, so
You can
I
wait for the
don't
next-
see where the light fill is from the
Don't-
side there.
Mr.
Don't
Depp,
object,
wait for
let
the
him
next
answer
question,
that
next
one.
question.
Next question.
Sorry.
Even the picture your team chose to show you on that train isn't
Did he
accurate.
just wave
is
at
it?
the judge?
Let's pull up
Objection
exhibit-
calls for
Let's
speculation.
pull up exhibit 1859, please.
1859, is that in evidence?
No, Your Honor.
You better
This
be
is our-
100% right when you're going to
Mr. Depp,
accuse
this
someone
is
of
this is
photoshopping.
the same picture or the
Yeah.
same, the exact same scene displayed in PX 162.
Remember,
you looked at this
Ricada,
morning,
their guys
correct?
are the ones that found the mistakes with.
That looks like my face has been, the eyes have been photoshopped.
Oh, okay. So this
Rittenhouse.
post from the Eastern and Oriental Express's Facebook page, you're saying that that's photoshopped?
Is
Let's
that from
pull
their
them up
page?
side
I
by
would, sure, why wouldn't they?
Let's pull them up side by side, please.
What
Your
is
Honor, I
that?
move for the admission of this exhibit. We can just have the pictures. We don't
Objection,
need
no
the-
foundation.
Any
No
objection?
foundation.
Objection, lack of foundation, lack
Yeah.
of justification.
Yeah. He just pulled it out of the air.
Mr. Depp.
It is me, but it's clearly,
Your
It's
Honor,
been-
I'd move to
it's
strike
been-
anything after that, first of all.
Getting testy.
With
It's not
ask
true and
permission.
correct.
should be done
Is
at-
it true and correct?
Just a photograph?
Yep.
Yeah, you're gonna,
We maintain our lack of authentication, lack of foundation.
all right, over objection, I'll allow 1859.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No,
Michelle,
that
could I
should be
please
brought to
get you
sidebar and argued.
to,
You need to redact it first.
we actually have one, it's, that will admit, or asked to be admitted as 1858. That
The
is.
paralegal just pulled it off of
Yeah.
Facebook and
Okay,
tried
so
to
they call
have it
this
entered into
1850.
evidence.
Yeah, who authenticated it?
So this is 18.
Nobody.
Yeah, nobody has authenticated.
Nobody authenticated.
Okay.
They should have really brought that to
We'll
sidebar and
fix
argued
exhibit
that
sticker on the bottom
vigorously.
and get you that correct 1859.
But yes, what a business hosting Johnny Depp on
And
their train
Michelle, what I'd
might
like
be
to ask you to do,
motivated to
please, is to
Photoshop a
put
bruise off of his
the
face.
picture-
So awesome.
Think?
Displayed
got
as
watermark now.
1859
Or just generally fix their faces.
was admitted into evidence next to PX 162 that was shown to Mr. Depp this morning.
Ride our train, get a shiner.
With an evidence.
Can you try to make them the same size, please? This is the exact same picture, isn't it, Mr. Depp?
Everything's cleaned up.
radically different quality.
Yeah.
And
No, you answered my question.
how
Permission
do
to
you know I
publish.
wasn't done?
It's not the exact
wasn't-
same
You answered
picture.
my question.
John.
Thank you. Appreciate
No.
it.
You're very welcome.
No, it's not at all.
You notice
Look
he
at that.
still has a mark under his eye here, though.
Yeah.
It's still
yeah.
there.
Yep.
Mr. Depp, you had that, whatever mark it is, whether it's a sunburn, whether it's a shadow, whether it's the light reflecting, you had that same mark on your eye before you got on that train.
not the same mark.
It's pretty difficult to get a sunburn on a train.
Let's go.
Photographs with the child, I don't look particularly sunburned. Can we see those again?
Let's pull up exhibit one. Actually, no. Let's talk about Australia for a little bit.
Oh, good.
Oh, good. Change the
Testified
subject.
that you've never done ecstasy more than a handful of times in your life, correct?
Said like 20.
6, 7 times.
Now, you heard Miss Heard's testimony. You've been sitting here. I know you didn't look at her, but you heard her testimony. And
Oh, I
you heard her. You didn't hear her say you ingested 8 to 10 all at once. She said she came down after being apart from you for some time, and there were 8 to 10 gone from the bag. Correct?
Objection form compound.
Overruled.
I also heard Miss Heard say I reached into a bag and poured a bunch of
Yep.
MDMA down my mouth.
Correct. That's right. She
A
didn't say you
handful.
poured
That's
10.
right.
Did
Oh,
she?
she said a handful,
Okay.
which is more than 10, I believe.
Okay. The fact is, Mr. Depp, you were
A handful's
asking
more
for
than
ecstasy.
10.
You who have only done it 6 times in your life, you were asking for ecstasy and cocaine within minutes of being admitted to the hospital after suffering your finger injury, weren't you?
Objection compound.
I don't recall that I was
Overruled.
Let's
begging
pull up.
for any drugs.
Yeah, let's pull up plaintiff's or exhibit 393, please. You just said you don't recall you were begging for any drugs.
No, I don't, but I do
okay.
recall being in great pain and great distress, so.
Okay.
Yeah, because I
could've
just
asked
realized
for
who I
10
married.
there as well.
Okay. So this has been admitted, Your Honor.
This is an evidence, okay, and published.
Rottenborg's just coming across as kind of frantic here.
And if you can blow up
This
the text,
is-
please, Michelle.
Every time he says,
In
okay,
this-
okay, okay.
Text message, Mr. Depp. You are, after you suffered your finger injury, you just testified you don't recall asking for any drugs. You're texting Nathan Holmes, your personal assistant, need more whitey stuff ASAP, brother man, and the e-business. Now, we went over this in your
You
cross-examination.
want biscuits and sugar? Sounds good to
If
me.
you say so, sir,
And whitey stuff is cocaine,
I would say.
and the e-business is ecstasy. You already
Yeah,
testified.
quite likely, yes.
Okay.
Quite
So I
likely.
didn't recall that,
Thank you.
but,
Can you pull up exhibit 1817, please? This is a picture that you were shown this morning, Mr. Depp,
yes.
and you kind of made some illustrations on the picture and gave your account of what you see here. Mr. Depp, you testified previously that the vodka bottle that you allege cut off your finger was a handle of vodka, correct?
You allege.
Yes.
You've already
the
testified to that,
second
correct?
bottle, there was a handle on it, bottle,
Right.
yes.
This bottle, whatever it is, to the extent it's glass at all, that's in the corner of this room, that's not a handle of vodka.
Objection calls for speculation.
I think you'll find that I said 2 bottles.
Well, actually,
From-
what you testified to this morning, Mr. Depp, was that the bottle in the corner was the handle, and there is no other bottle in the picture, is there?
No, that's not what I testified. I testified that, may I touch the screen?
Yes.
It's a handle of alcohol.
Yeah.
What even is this cross?
Is glass.
And that's
Okay.
not a handle. Neither of those are handles of vodka.
It's that big, it's broken. The handles up the top on those vodka bottles, sir.
Yeah.
I mean,
And none, if you combine all that glass on the
Why
floor,
did I just hear a
that
cork?
doesn't make up a glass and a handle of vodka.
Idiotic.
Objection calls for speculation.
I'm not a,
When there's objection, hold on. I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
There is no picture of a handle of vodka broken on that floor, is there, Mr. Depp?
I just circled it.
no, I don't see it. I see glass under this chair here.
Okay. Well, you testified this morning that you did see it, so it's good to get that clarification. Let's move
No, I
on.
didn't say I saw a handle.
You also testified this morning that
Said it was a handle.
yeah, and I want to get this. I want to make sure that we're on the same page.
And it is possible that
Yes.
handles
Right.
of don't have actual handles.
There was no phone in the bar area.
That's a good
downstairs. Is
point.
that what you testified to?
It's a 1.75 liter bottle.
I don't recall a phone in the bar area.
Okay.
I don't recall a Bakelite phone in the bar area where I,
Okay.
no.
Let's pull up Michelle, please.
It's going to show the other
UK3,
phone.
Page 4.
This kind of frantic paced questioning is just so
We've done this drill before.
weak.
This is your testimony from the UK, correct?
Can I please have?
we don't have copies for everyone. It's on the screen.
Your
right
Honor,
there.
may I please, I would like to have.
But it's
what
the attorneys that you
the
have to provide
testimony
them.
of the witness.
We don't have copies for everybody.
We don't have testimony. You just have to
Mr.
have
Depp, you
one.
remember giving testimony
copy
in the
for
UK
them.
trial for several days, correct?
Okay, so, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I do remember a telephone in the bar area, and this
Yeah, well,
telephone you picked up was made of Bakelite.
This is my turn to do this, Mr. Depp.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
On page 421, line 19, you were asked the question, and this telephone that you picked up was made of, I'm sorry, I'm going to go up line 15. Question, at one stage when you were in the kitchen screaming at Miss Heard, you picked up a wall-mounted telephone. Do you remember a telephone in the kitchen? Answer, no ma'am, I remember a telephone in the bar area. Question, and this telephone that you picked up was made of Bakelite. Do you know what I mean by that? A retro telephone, wall-mounted but retro. Answer, it was a wall-mounted telephone, but it was not Bakelite. It was a modern phone. It was plastic. Question, a phone that was a wall-mounted phone that was picked up. Can you scroll down, please? Question, a phone that was a wall-mounted phone that was picked up by you, held in your right hand, and you were repeatedly smashing it against the wall in your right hand. Answer, that is possible. But I do not, if that is the case, I do not believe I spent very much time on the phone. I remember ripping the phone off the wall. That was your testimony, correct?
It seems it would be yes.
Thank you. Answer my question. Thank you. Mr. Depp, you've claimed before, you've said, if I'm angry and I've got to lash out or hit somebody, I'm going to do it. And I don't care what the repercussions are. Anger doesn't pay rent. It's got to go. It's got to be evicted. You've said that before, haven't you?
Have you a quote from me somewhere saying that?
It's my question to you. You've said that before, haven't you?
I don't
Actually,
know.
let's refresh your recollection. Can you pull up
That'd be great.
the ghost? in the
That'd be
Machine?
great.
That'd be great.
Possibly about paparazzis.
Mr. Depp, you see the picture of you on the lower left.
Yes.
Appears to be shirtless and wearing a crown, I believe. You see the long
Stop.
paragraph.
I want a
above that that
crown.
starts with, in the Mark Hotel.
Ah, yes,
You see
yes,
that?
yes. I
At
do.
the bottom of
The guy
that,
wearing the crown owns his own
just
island,
refresh the
Jude.
recollection that you said,
Yeah.
I have a lot of love inside me and a lot of anger inside me as well. If I love somebody, then I'm going to love them. If I'm angry and I've got to lash out or hit somebody, I'm going to do it. And I don't care what the repercussions are. Anger doesn't pay rent. It's got to go. It's got to be evicted. Did I read that right?
A good
Yes,
Chris
you
Christopher
read
says
it,
that.
right?
That's a good.
You did read that right. yes.
Poem.
Thank you. You can take that down, Michelle, please. Now, Mr. Depp, you've also claimed that you've said before that if you want to be with a woman sexually, that she is rightfully yours. haven't you?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Could you
Awesome.
repeat that?
And you've also said that with
Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, that if you want to be with a woman sexually, that she is rightfully yours.
That's ludicrous.
You've also said that with respect to women that you want to be with, you've remarked, I need, I want, I take, haven't you?
Equally as ludicrous, no.
Can you pull up DX 883?
Oh, this is his response to Amber's nudie. Oh my God. They have to get it in
Right,
on
I've never
reruns
said
if
those
they are not
words.
prepared for that.
There's not enough hubris in me to say anything like that.
883.
883, Your Honor.
It's not.
DX
Is it
Oh,
It is
my
not
goodness.
admitted yet.
Okay, 883.
Text to Amber. Text to Amber.
Mr. Depp, these are text messages from you to Stephen Duders on February 22nd, 2017, correct?
It appeared to be.
This looks nothing like me. You might have mistaken
Mr. Depp, we can show the full unredacted. You've looked at a number of text messages in this case, and the words him as the identifier, that's you, correct? In every text message we've seen in this case.
Yeah, sure. It still doesn't mean it hasn't been screwed with.
Ha!
That's not anything that I've ever said or written.
You want to see the whole thing unredacted? We can look at that too.
No, because you could have typed it up last night. No.
I
Ha!
can assure you I didn't type it up last night, Mr. Depp.
Well, I know
Well,
you
I
because you're
before.
subpoenaing
8-3.
people.
Any objection?
Objection on relevance grounds, Your Honor.
All right, well, do you want to approach for a moment?
So, for evidence,
If you win this objection, you better ask for his characterization of the text to be stricken.
that's right.
So is there something like this, Andrea, in his you mentioned text to Amber Heard.
Just to responding
Amber
in
Heard
nudes.
sent Johnny Depp nudes when he was working on the set of The Lone Ranger, and she's got this little handwritten side on it that says, "This Texan bitch will eat you alive. I need, give me what's mine."
Yeah, I remember I showed that picture censored on stream the other day. Someone sent it to me for a handwriting analysis. She had to write the letters. She had to write the letters backwards because she couldn't figure out how to flip the phone image. So the letters look really awkward because they're written inappropriately. So did he respond to that, or have we not?
All right.
Do we know?
We don't know. That was what I'm guessing here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Depp, you're aware that these are text messages. You can see the bottom right where it says Depp and then it has a number, 8129. Those are produced by you in this litigation. You understand that, right?
I understand that.
Okay. All right, Michelle, could you please, let's take a look at the top text first. Mr. Depp, on February 22nd, 2017, you texted Mr. Deuters,
Oh,
right,
great.
exactly. Molly's pussy is rightfully mine.
Oh,
Should I not just bust in and remove its hinges tonight? Did I read that right?
You read it right.
And the one beneath that, you say,
you
I want to change her understanding of what it is like to be thrashed about like a pleading mackerel. And then in all caps, you write,
Sexy.
A
I
pleading
want,
mackerel.
I take. Read that right?
You read it right, but I did not write that. Perhaps someone else.
You wrote
had
every
my
other
phone.
text that you produced that came from you in this litigation, didn't you?
Not necessarily. Sometimes
Pleading
you give
mackerel.
people your phone to people and they
Now, when
text
you
from
got
it.
off that plane,
There's
Excuse me?
from
several
Boston.
participants.
when you got off the plane
Redacted
from Boston,
out.
Yeah.
you knew Miss Heard was
Yeah.
angry with you, didn't you?
It was pretty much a given.
Objection calls for speculation.
So,
And you understood her to be angry,
You
right?
need to stop some of these useless.
awesome
objections.
friend of the
And
channel.
you asked Mr.
Grimm's
Deuters,
Bar.
same person, you can take this down, Michelle, please, thank you.
has
Same
got
person who texted
all
that
the
last exhibit. You asked
analytics.
Mr. Deuters to
They
communicate
found all
with
the
her on your
bots
behalf, correct?
that were doing all the pro Amber Heard
I
stuff
don't
on
know what
Twitter.
you're talking about. You
I think
explain.
literally she had
You asked
nobody
Mr. Deuters
that was
to
for her,
communicate with Miss
and
Heard by
everybody
text
was
to
a
speak
fake.
to her about the incident, correct?
About what
This is so
incident?
true.
To speak to her about the plane flight,
The plane?
the Boston plane.
The Boston plane.
The plane?
So you're saying that I influenced Mr. Deuters. I told him that he had to write this, and I had told him that he had to write that. Is that what you're saying?
No, it wasn't uncommon for Mr. Deuters to text to communicate with Miss Heard on your behalf, correct?
Objection calls for speculation.
He was your personal assistant. Mr. Deuters was your personal assistant, correct?
I had two personal assistants
Right.
at the time.
He was one of them, right?
Yeah, Mr. Deuters was one of them. Yes, sir.
Right, and it wasn't uncommon for you to ask Mr. Deuters to communicate with Miss Heard on your behalf, correct?
It wasn't uncommon for any of them to communicate with Miss Heard on my behalf if I were on set or unavailable or any of that.
Or if Miss Heard and you had a fight, you would sometimes have them to communicate with Miss Heard on your behalf, correct?
I think my crew caught on very quickly that
Just a yes or no,
would
Mr.
be
Depp.
necessary for them to.
No, just a yes or no. It was not uncommon after
Objection,
you and Ms.
Your
Hurd
Honor.
had
I'd ask that he be allowed to finish his
yes or
answer.
no question, Your Honor.
All right.
Ooh.
Go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Wasn't uncommon for you to have one of your personal assistants communicate with Ms. Hurd after you and her had a fight.
I disagree because you're insinuating that I had them do it, and you don't know that.
After the Boston plane flight, you had Mr. Duders communicate with Ms. Hurd, correct?
When I'm asked what to do, I said placate her, just placate her like we always do.
And you told him, send her whatever message you need to send to
I'm
placate her,
sorry, he's
correct?
sorry, he feels bad, yes, because any other answer, it would turn into World War III.
Okay. Can you pull up Exhibit 229, please?
Johnny was in this.
Yeah, I get it
marriage
that
way
Molly
too
is
long.
ecstasy, but he's talking about abusing Molly's
Your Honor,
pussy or whatever. I
think you know
don't
where
think
I'm
that's
going
an
here, and
ecstasy
based on
comment. The
Mr.
question is,
Depp's
who the fuck
testimony,
is
I'm
Molly?
asking for the admission of Exhibit 229.
Your Honor, can we please approach?
Sure.
Making her quiver like a mackerel. There's no
Pleading
testimony.
mackerel. Pleading
A
mackerel.
bleeding mackerel.
There's
Pleading
no
mackerel.
testimony that I'm aware of any person Johnny Depp's been involved with named Molly in this case. There are multiple recipients listed on that thing. Is that a group text? Is that from Johnny Depp? Is that from someone else? I have no idea about what that came from. Johnny seems genuinely confused about it. This is
More
an
out of
evidence
context
question.
Mr. Depp,
Yeah. The poor mackerel.
Pretty
Cover
angry.
me in your clarified butter, Johnny.
Restraining order, weren't you?
More than anything, I was hurt.
And you testified earlier this morning, you claimed that you somehow were responsible for her getting the role with Warner Brothers, correct? That's what you testified to this morning. You also tried to get her fired from Aquaman, didn't you? After the temporary restraining order.
Which question would you like me to handle first?
Just one question, sir. You tried to get her fired from the Aquaman after the temporary restraining order, didn't you?
No, there's two questions.
Well, what is related to the story about me getting?
It just
her-
yes or no, Mr. Depp. I didn't
So
ask
life does
what
not come
related,
down to
what
yes or
story
no at all
related to.
times. I can't please you with a yes or a no every single time.
It's a yes or no question, Mr. Depp. You tried to get Ms. Hurd fired, didn't you?
Answer's no.
All right, let's pull up Exhibit 821.
I mean,
Is that
Mr.
me
Depp,
trying to
is
get her
this-
fired?
this is so awesome.
This is a
Is that me
this
trying to
is
get
a
her
text message
fired?
that you had with your sister, Christy Dombrowski.
I think
She's the first witness in this case, right?
I
She
think
doesn't
Amber
work
Heard's
alone,
getting
but she
turned
can
on
fire
again
Amber.
by Johnny.
This is a text message you had with her on June 4th, 2016, isn't it?
June 12th, yes.
Your Honor, move for the admission of Exhibit 821 as redacted.
Any objection?
We would object on relevance grounds, Your Honor.
I'll overrule that objection. 821 in evidence.
And on June 4th, 2016, Mr. Depp, you texted your sister, I want her replaced on that WB film. Did I read that right?
So
You did.
Her is
Yeah,
referring to
4
Amber,
million people have signed a
don't know.
petition.
right? And WB is Warner Brothers, correct?
Again, correct, yes.
And then after you sent this text to your sister, following the temporary restraining order, you reached out to Guy Silverstein to have him fire Amber, correct?
Who?
It's Greg Silverstein, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Uh,
now subtle
I
little
don't recall
who's like that.
reaching out to Greg Silverstein.
You reach out to Sue Crawl to get him to
Particularly.
fire Miss Hurd, right?
I had vetted Miss Hurd. And I had vetted Miss Hurd.
Mr. Depp, you got your chance to
Warner
speak this morning.
Brothers
Your Honor,
had, Warner
as-
Brothers
Sorry?
had two franchises.
Mr. Depp, if you could just answer the question, sir. All right, next question.
You reached out to Greg Silverstein to get him to try to get Amber fired from
Just say no.
Aquaman, didn't you?
No.
I
Asked and
reached-
answered.
Excuse me.
Asked and answered.
It's a yes or no
Ooh.
question that he hasn't answered, yes or
All
no.
right.
Yes or no, sir? You reached out to Greg Silverstein to try to get Amber fired from Aquaman.
Say no.
Second half of your question is wrong, sir.
You
I
reached out to Sue
them
Kroll.
because I vetted her.
No, Mr. Depp. You reached out to Sue
What
Kroll
you
to
like,
get
I
her
don't care.
to try to get her to help you get Amber fired from Aquaman, didn't you?
No.
And you reached out to Kevin Sujihara to try to get him to help you get Amber fired from Aquaman, didn't you?
No.
Can you pull up Exhibit 857?
You know, it's more damning for them to press this and make Johnny say no.
So
this
this
is actually
is the risk
hurting.
of bringing Johnny Depp and having significant time to cross. Some of this stuff
Mr.
doesn't
Depp,
look
this
great.
is a text message that you sent to Christian Carino on August 15th, 2016.
None of
correct?
those people were just
This
listed.
is already in evidence, correct?
Parts of it are,
Oh, so not this.
not this
Well,
version.
this can't be 857 then. Don't.
850. Sorry.
Mr. Unbur, you can't do this to me.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Understood. We'll call it 857A.
Okay. All right. Yes, sir. Thank you.
My apologies, Your Honor. Mr. Depp, you sent this text to Christian Carino on August 15th.
I most certainly did.
Okay. And in this text that you sent to Christian Carino is the person who used to be Amber's agent and then was your agent for a time, correct?
That is correct.
And in this text,
correct.
Your Honor, permission to publish, please.
You want to put in evidence
Yeah.
first?
Move for admission of
Any
857A.
Objection?
No objection.
All right. 857A.
Is the question is, did he try to get her fired from Aquaman 2?
Thank you, Your Honor. And in this
Begging
text,
for total
Mr.
global
Depp,
humiliation.
you said she's begging for total global humiliation. She's
Well-
going to get it.
The Flappy Fish Market text.
I'm going to need your texts about San Francisco, brother.
Yes.
I'm even sorry to ask, but she sucked Mollusk's crooked dick and he gave her some shitty lawyers. I had
Elon.
no mercy, no fear, and not an ounce of emotion, or what I once thought was love for this gold-digging, low-level, dime a dozen, mushy, pointless, dangling, overused, flappy fish market.
I love that term.
What can we
Fight this
say?
out. She will hit the wall hard, and I cannot wait to have this waste of a cum guzzler out of my life. I met a fucking sublime little Russian here, which made me realize the time I blew on that 50-cent stripper. I wouldn't touch her with a goddamn glove. I can only hope that karma kicks in and takes
Captain Jack wrote this text.
from her. Sorry, man, but now I will stop at nothing. Let's see if Mollusk has a pair. Come see me face to face. I'll show him things he's never seen before, like the other side of his dick when I slice it off. Did I read that right?
You did.
Now, not long after this,
What does that have to do with him getting her
that
fired?
one.
not long after this, you met Mr. Waldman in the late summer or fall of 2016, correct?
I believe, yeah, September, October, somewhere in there, whatever.
And he's been your attorney since then, correct?
Be very careful
Yes,
here.
sir.
And you met with him with the Daily Mail in London in February 2020, didn't you?
Object.
I'm sorry, again?
You and Mr. Waldman together met with the Daily Mail in London
Object.
in February 2020, didn't you?
Object.
Are you asking me a question about my attorney and I?
Yeah,
Object.
but you two met with people from the Daily
Trying to
Mail
invoke
in London in
himself, I
February
think.
2020.
Assert your privilege. If they're not going to
Was that
object,
during the London trial?
No,
No?
in February.
I don't recall it, though.
Okay.
I don't-
To the extent Mr. Waldman testified that you did, you don't dispute that, correct?
I just don't recall it.
Okay. You don't disagree with Mr. Waldman's testimony that you and he met with people from the Daily
Can't
Mail?
disagree or
February
agree
20.
with something I don't recall.
Exactly.
If that's Mr. Waldman's testimony, then,
Okay.
but I just didn't necessarily know who these people were, I
The
guess.
the same month that the Daily Mail released alleged tapes between you and Amber.
Objection
Correct.
calls for speculation, lack of
Alleged-
personal knowledge.
Alleged.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Now, Mr. Depp, you testified, and I wrote it down before lunch. You said, Ms. Myers asked you something about, how does it feel to make you or how does it feel to be here? You said, I've been living with it for 6 years and waiting to be able to get the truth out. Remember saying that?
Yes.
You also said, I've spoken up for what I've been carrying on my back. Something to that effect. You remember saying that?
Yes.
And you've claimed several times in this proceeding, Mr. Depp, that this trial is your first chance to tell your story, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
But that's just not true, is it, Mr.
Guys,
Depp?
I might fall
No, it
asleep.
is.
The
That's
yard
not
only
true.
took it out of me.
UK. Trying to get to
Yeah.
UK.
No, for me it is true.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. The fact is, Mr. Depp, when Dan Wooten wrote an article that was published in The Sun calling you a wife beater, you brought a lawsuit against The Sun in June of 2018, correct?
Yes, I put
And that was 6 months before Miss Heard ever wrote her op-ed, correct?
I don't know.
And in the summer of 2020, there was a several-week trial in London against The Sun, correct?
Miss Heard was not a party to that trial.
Not my question, Mr. Depp. In the article that The Sun wrote that you sued over, you sued for Mr.
Objection,
Wooten calling you
relevancy.
a wife beater, correct?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained. Next question.
And in the trial that you subsequently brought, you called a lot of witnesses, right?
I don't know what a lot is. I don't know.
Many people testified on both
I
sides.
don't know what
of the
many
trial,
is.
correct?
Yes, many people.
And many exhibits were introduced, correct?
Like a trial, yes.
And you, just like in this trial, you were on the stand for several days in that trial, correct?
Yes, sir, I was.
And that trial involved the same factual issues
Nope.
you're litigating here,
No.
which is whether
Nope.
you committed
Objection calls
domestic
for
abuse
illegal.
against Amber Heard.
Yep.
Objection. Next question.
Sustained.
You
That's
brought
right.
that case against the
They
Sun.
shouldn't have objected. Let him
because
say no.
you were angry at the Sun for calling you a wife beater, correct?
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
true.
different than now.
It wasn't true.
Yeah, that's
And you
probably a
went,
pretty good reason.
and you went through that trial in London, correct?
I did indeed, yes.
Mr. Depp, you've already had a chance to tell your story, haven't you?
No, there
Objection
were
asked and
great
answered.
limitations in the UK trial.
Overruled. Okay.
No further questions.
All right. Redirect.
They are
Thank you.
objecting at some stupid fucking. Let him answer that question. No, I did not get to tell my story. Like, just let him answer that.
He's just not a great enough witness,
Wanborn
though,
asked
to
you some
be able
questions
to
about,
get right there.
Or he wasn't
a trial.
prepped for that or whatever. They're worried about what he's going to
Why
say.
do you feel that this is the first time that you've actually had an opportunity to tell your story and, as you said,
Or they're going to pull it out and redirect.
As the UK trial was me suing Dan Wooten and the Sun for defamation for calling me a wife beater.
A white beard.
The UK have different, well, there are different laws. There are different ways they handle things. There are also limitations in
Guys, they're married.
evidence.
Was your wife?
Some things can be brought up, some things cannot be
Your Honor,
brought
as
up.
they
And
said, it calls
Mr.
for a legal
Rutherford.
conclusion.
I mean,
This doesn't call for a legal
I
conclusion.
know my
His
wife. She'd be
experience.
like,
It's in the English.
she'd be
Your Honor,
embarrassed to
he's talking about
say
his
that she was
experience
beaten by
testifying.
me.
Overruled.
She'd be like, I whoop his ass.
You'll be okay.
Beat me. I'll whoop his ass.
There is a very, everything is quite boxed in with regard to what can be said, what can be spoken about. So, Ms. Heard provided information to the Sun as their star witness, but the case was not brought against Ms. Heard. It was brought against the Sun newspaper, journal, whatever it is.
Mr.
Fisher
Longhorn referenced that you were on the stand for multiple days.
4.5, I believe, yes.
What was the nature of that examination? Or,
All
excuse me,
cross-exam.
who was conducting that examination of you?
QC Sasha Was.
And whose attorney was
Did he
that?
say QC
Son.
sexual Watts?
Can we please pull up DX 857A?
It's already in evidence. So you can publish it.
Mr. Depp, do you recall seeing this text message when Mr. Rottenborn was questioning you?
Oh, yes, I do.
Can you explain what you're conveying to Mr. Carino in this text message?
Displeasure.
That her vagina is literally flappy.
I'm
That's
in,
the fish market bit.
I'm in total shock that this is happening to me, that my entire life on the planet has been brought to the head of a pin with all this completely, utterly false information. So I am, when you're accused of horrific acts and things that you have not done, when it's actually some very ugly things that are going out there into the world about you on a nonstop basis by Ms. Heard and her team, you have a tendency as humans to get very, very irate and angry, not to the point where you go out and hurt someone, not to the point even where you assault a cabinet.
Some people would shoot up a
But
fish market over this.
you do get irate. You do wonder why this person is doing this to me. So yeah, many things go through your head. And then you've got your family, you've got your kids, you've got your parent. My mom, thankfully, didn't get to read any of this because that would have killed her. But my father, my family, everyone that I've met, the people that supported me, suddenly I'm scum. Why? Never had to happen. One little lie. So yes, very angry.
Could we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 821? Mr. Depp, do you recall seeing this text message?
What's this
when
one?
Mr. Rottenborn was asking you questions.
Yes, he loves this one, yes.
Yes. Would you care to explain what you're trying to convey in this text message?
That she's a salty fish market.
Warner Brothers were about to find themselves in quite a dilemma as the person that they had just cast.
Objection, Your Honor. Lack of foundation as to what Warner Brothers knew or thought.
Didn't I meet with them?
All right. For the question, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
I don't know. You tell me.
Mr.
Did I
Depp,
meet
without
with them?
explaining what Warner Brothers felt, why did you send this text message to your sister? And what were, strike that. What were you trying to convey to your sister when you sent this text message?
Honestly, I felt responsibility for having gone to those people and painted such a beautiful picture.
Objection. Hearsay, Your Honor. Now he's talking about what he said to Warner Brothers.
He didn't say what he said.
Please continue.
Overruled.
Change seats.
So sorry, you can please continue.
I felt it was my responsibility to get
To apologize
to Warner Brothers about what they were going to end up facing down the line, which is 2 franchises that would be causing problems for one another, especially as any news, any press, any media that came out about me at that time had been turned into, I was Charles Manson, I was the worst thing on earth. and they just kept coming. It was like a nonstop fire. So my responsibility, after having painted a beautiful picture of her for them, was to tell them,
She's a bitch.
I think you better.
Objection, Your Honor. He's getting into what he claims he told Warner Brothers or wanted to.
He's saying what he wanted to tell them. He's not saying
Not
what
being
he
offered
actually
for the
told
proof
them.
of the matter asserted.
Mr. Depp, you mentioned two franchise films with Warner Brothers. What two franchise films are you referring to?
There was Aquanet.
Aquanet!
Sorry.
Aquanet.
And Fantastic Beasts, the one that I was in.
And why did you feel a responsibility with respect to those two franchise films?
He just killed that
Warner Bros.
movie.
Was starting to
It's
get
now
quite
called Aquanet.
upset about some of the things that were being said about me in the press that were constant hit pieces.
I think Sully and Jules were talking about Aquanet in Discord the other day.
On one level, yes, it's just acting, it's just movies, but it's business and it's your word. And I had given my word to them, and I felt responsible.
He's just a really nice guy.
That I had to tell them exactly what was going on, and that it was going to end up ugly.
And which of those two film franchises were you a part of?
I'm sorry?
Which of those two film franchises were you a part of?
I was
not part of Aquanet.
I was in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and I was in the Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Could we please pull up DX 883?
This is the one somebody on Twitter has already caught. These are both incoming texts.
Mr.
to
Depp,
Johnny.
do you recall
These are not
seeing
his
these
texts.
text messages during
Yeah.
Mr. Ronborn's examination?
That's what I was thinking. It says incoming right on there.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
And it looks
Yes,
like
I
a group
remember.
text.
And you
Yeah.
didn't seem to recall these text messages. Is that fair?
It truly is.
They left a phone number up. They're redacting them in real time.
I don't know who Molly is. I don't know nothing about this.
Do you have any understanding of what you're referring to in this text message?
It's not
Or these two
me.
text
It's not
messages?
her.
No,
It's not him.
I honestly, if somebody else had borrowed my phone or something and made this text to Stephen, possibly,
Oh God.
but I don't understand the.
You just redacted more than
I
one
don't-
phone number.
I don't have that kind of. I don't have that kind of hubris or expectation.
They're running out of time.
It's quite grotesque text.
Can we take that down, please?
Whose phone number is it?
Can we
She missed
please
it.
pull up
Sake.
Defendant's Exhibit 1821?
Wow.
Mr. Depp, do you recognize this document?
That is behind the bar, yes.
Okay. And do you see Mr. Ronborn asked you some questions about whether there was a telephone
Yes,
in
and now
Australia.
I see a telephone there now.
And did
It is,
you
I really
recall that
do.
telephone being there?
I don't recall the telephone being there, but I can see it now.
Can we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 1820?
I can't believe they missed that.
Do you recall
The
me
text
showing you
message
this
thing.
text
It's
message
pissing me
earlier
off.
on?
Uh,
Or excuse me, do you recall
Yes,
me
of
showing you
course.
this picture
Yes.
during your examination?
yes, yeah.
Okay. And
What
I
is
think
that?
I asked you whether you recall a phone being mounted on the wall in the left of this picture. Do you remember that?
Yes,
And what was your answer to that?
no.
Mr. Depp, Mr. Rottenborn asked you some questions about your honeymoon. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And I believe you had
Yes,
testified
she
that
hit
you
me.
and Miss Heard were on the Orient Express together.
That's correct, yes.
Where had you been prior to being on the Orient Express?
We had been in Australia, and then made it over to Thailand to catch the Orient Express.
If we could bring up the Plaintiff's Exhibit 162 again.
The Rip Depp and Johnny Law stuff. He didn't lose on this issue. It's just frustrating.
Mr. Depp, do you know who took this picture?
Malcolm Connolly.
And despite what Mr. Rottenborn showed you,
Rottenborn. I mean, that's so awful.
Do you see a bruise on your face in this picture?
I see like what looks like a pretty decent shiner and a kind of a scratched up nose, yes.
And do you recall how you got the scratches and the shiner?
There was a very brief
show the other
freak
photo
out
too.
in this
Oh, she was
very
great
bad
until our
cabin,
honeymoon. Didn't she punch me in the face?
just before this dinner. I can't remember why, but there were many. I remember taking the photograph, though. I mean, I remember being there. I remember meeting the chef and all. But I mean, the quality of the photo is not great. The quality of the other photo that he showed us has been prettied up.
Prettied up.
Mr. Depp, did you ever physically abuse Miss Heard during your relationship?
Never.
Nobody shook her.
Never.
No further questions.
All right, so you can have a seat next to your attorneys. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we're done.
Yeah.
Your
If they catch that incoming and closing, they can bring it up there.
Well, it's
Didn't
on
quite get
Twitter.
that, I'm
The
sorry.
side by sides of the text on the text
Step
that he
called
sent.
Morgan Tremaine.
All
It's
right.
outgoing, and
Morgan Tremaine.
on that text it says incoming. So,
Yep.
but
Oh, look.
it pisses me off because that's a point to show that Rottenborn is
I
a
think
slimy
Johnny
piece
has
of
4
shit, and
drinks.
they
Yeah.
missed it. That's what makes me so fucking mad about it. It's like, no, who is it? And I think they should have shown the. I think they should have shown the
who
Photoshop
is
picture
this?
next to it and have them testify.
Oh, man,
Look
this
at
is a
how
dude
clear
with
it is.
painted
Read
fingernails.
the original photo, but look at how cleaned up this one is. This is an advertising photo on their Facebook page.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tremaine.
Hello,
Would you please state your full name for the record?
Morgan Cliff Tremaine.
Cliff?
What do you do for a living?
I produce esports events and design.
Seriously, bro.
Video
And
gamer.
in 2016, what did you do for a living?
I worked as the field assignment manager at TMZ.
What is TMZ?
TMZ is an entertainment news website and television show.
And what were your responsibilities as a field assignment manager for TMZ?
Look at that practice
I was the
eyebrow raise.
go-between the news desk in the office and the reporters in the field, which you might know as paparazzi.
I feel like this guy has
Approximately how many
200
paparazzis were
anti-Semitic
you
jokes
in
chambered
charge
at
of?
any given moment.
At the time, it was about 20 in LA, a handful, maybe 3 in New York, and then 1 in DC.
And what were your responsibilities specifically as to the paparazzi?
It would be to dispatch paparazzi to various locations based on tips or just direction dictated by having a list of sort of hot spots where celebrities would be.
And how were those tips received?
Hey, Jules.
They were received
Be safe,
either
okay?
through tips that we received through our tip line or directly through
Don't forget your
news
seatbelt.
producers in the office.
And were tips frequently received directly from sources?
I
Very
swear I
often,
heard
yeah.
were tits.
And who were the
Received.
type of sources that TMC received tips from?
There you
They
go
received
again.
Tips from, oftentimes it would be publicists, managers, agents, or B-list celebrities,
Lawyers?
and lawyers, definitely.
How are tips verified?
Tips are verified by an extensive process. If they come in through our tip line, we have to verify who sent it, that that the source is truthful, and so they have to add their contact information, which is a field in that on that website for like name, phone number, things like that.
And how long does that process typically take?
If we receive a tip through the tip line, it could take a while because that would need to be, if it was a tip, we would need to verify it. If it was media, such as photos or videos, that would need to be extensively verified to ensure that the person sending it is the copyright holder and that we would have the legal ability to air it and distribute it.
And while working for TMZ, were you involved in any assignments related to Ms. Heard?
I was.
What was the first time you recall working on an assignment related to Ms. Heard?
I believe it was May 27th, 2016.
And what was your role in that assignment?
For that, Ms. Heard was filing a restraining order at a courthouse in downtown Los Angeles. So I dispatched camera people to that location.
Under what circumstances would you normally send paparazzi to a courthouse?
Only if we had been informed prior. It's not by any means a celebrity hotspot. We would only ever send people there if we had been tipped off that something was occurring and there was somebody present there.
And what footage was TMZ trying to capture at the LA courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
We were trying to capture Amber leaving the courthouse and an alleged bruise on the right side of her face.
Tipped off
What
about
was
the
your
bruise?
team of paparazzi supposed to do while they were at the LA courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay
What?
and foundation.
What?
What were they supposed to do?
He was kind of there.
Was asking
Foundation.
for-
He's the guy who does the
I don't
assignment.
think there's a foundation.
I'll overrule the objection at this point.
Go ahead.
Ah,
He's the
died
assigner
laughing.
of tasks.
What was your team of
The
paparazzi
dictator of
while
tasks,
they
I
were at
believe.
Los Angeles courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
Their objective was to capture her leaving the courthouse, and then she was going to sort of stop and turn towards the camera to display the bruise on the right side of her face. The alleged.
Oh, Jesus.
Did your team of videographers
Wow.
get the shot of Amber Heard?
We did.
What is the
Completely
difference
orchestrated.
between receiving a tip from a news producer and any other source?
If it's any other source, it would have to be verified by copyright. If it was anything that was received directly through a news
Yeah,
producer,
TMZ
then
copyrights
they
me
go
all the
through that
time.
process to verify the source.
Did you do anything to verify the tip on May 27th,
my bunny just sent this to
2016
me.
related to Amber Heard?
I did not,
Why not?
because it had come directly from a news producer.
Thanks,
Does that
Rabbit.
mean it had been verified?
It means that they had verified that tip and deemed that it was credible, and therefore a camera person needed to be dispatched.
After May 27th, 2016, were you involved in any other assignments related to Amber Heard?
Yes.
Can you tell me about those assignments?
Next one would have been August 6th, 2016, where she was giving a deposition.
So what did you do in relation to relation to that tip?
I dispatched camera people to a parking lot adjacent to a law office in which she would be arriving to. So we could get the footage of her arriving for the deposition.
Do you typically send paparazzis to parking lots of law offices?
No, not at all.
Did you get the shot of Ms. Heard on August 6, 2016?
We did.
We did.
After August 6, 2016, were you involved in any other stories involving Ms. Heard?
Yes, I was.
And what story was that?
On the 12th, we received a video depicting Johnny Depp slamming some cabinets that was captured by Ms. Heard.
And what day was that?
I believe that was the August 12th
Of 2016?
of 2016, yes.
Can you describe describe to the jury how you received the video on August 12th, 2016?
Yeah, Amber
Yes, the
Heard
video
sent to us.
was sent in through our email tip line, which is an email distribution that goes
Oh,
to
what
producers and
email?
to myself as the field assignment manager because it often included celebrity locations. It came in as I recall,
Objection, hearsay.
This isn't.
He's just
has-
describing how
just
it came
hearsay.
in.
Yeah, that's gonna say
I
that's
think
not
he's about
hearsay.
to reveal hearsay, Your Honor.
I'll overrule for now. We'll see where it goes.
Please continue.
So I received that email and it included a link from some unknown Dropbox type
Unknown Dropbox.
public website in which it contained that
Objection, Your
video.
Honor, hearsay. He's
That's
about
not-
to describe what comes from the Dropbox website.
That's not
Surprised
hearsay.
you said he's was a link from the Dropbox. We'll see the next question. Go ahead, next question.
So you received a link. What was in that link?
In that link was the video of Johnny Depp smashing the cabinets.
Oh boy.
And you received
And
this video in your inbox,
what-
correct?
I did.
Was it edited? What was the
What did
end
you
of this
do
video?
once you received that video?
We downloaded it. We alerted the web editor who was sitting next to me at the time. We downloaded it and then were instructed by the news producer to do what we call slap bumpers and a bug on it, which is putting the dun 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 at the beginning end.
Bumpers
and
and a bug.
putting a
Bumpers and a bug.
translucent watermark over it, which indicates copyright ownership.
Oh, that's what they do
After
to
you
me.
did that, was it posted?
It was posted, yes.
Where was it posted?
It was posted to tmz.com.
Did you do anything else related to Amber Heard on August 12th, 2016?
Oh, Camille.
Yes, I
how did
received
the
a tip
video
that
end?
Amber Heard would be arriving at LAX, and so I dispatched camera people to film that exit, or her arrival to LAX rather.
And why did you do that?
I was instructed to.
How long does it take to post a story after media's been received by TMZ?
After media's been received, it could take any length of time depending on who owns the copyright.
How does TMZ obtain copyright over images and videos?
Thank you.
The only way to obtain copyright over media would be if we shot it ourselves, if it was sent to the tip line, source verified that it was from the original copyright owner, and then either purchased from that person or given to us. And then the third option would be if it was directly given to us by the copyright holder, like a direct source.
And how long does it take
There
to
you go.
copyright something TMZ has received through the tip line?
It can take a while because you have to extensively verify that that person owns the copyright. And then possibly, it depends also if you can even get in contact with the person because they might not be super responsive immediately via phone or email that they provided. And then potentially you'd have to enter a negotiation with our clips and clearances department to figure out the cost of that media.
How long does it take for TMZ to obtain a copyright over something received directly from a source?
Something in the realm of 15 minutes just to do what I described before, which is putting bumpers and a bug on something and write the article and post it. It's pretty fast.
How much time had passed from the time you received the kitchen cabinet video to the time it was posted on TMZ?
About 15 minutes.
There it is. Done.
Did any
Amber
other
Heard gave
tabloids
it to
other
him.
than TMZ post this video?
Objection,
No, they-
leading and calls for hearsay.
What?
Did any other tabloids?
Overrule.
What? Tremaine, go ahead.
What, if any?
No, they did not.
And why not?
Because it was a TMZ exclusive.
And what does that mean?
It means the TMZ owns the copyright to it. So it can't be distributed by any other media source without backlinking to TMZ. And they wouldn't be able to upload that media without getting a copyright strike.
We're
Have you
aware.
seen the kitchen cabinet video that was played in this trial?
I have,
Thank
yes.
you.
How does that video that was played in this trial compare to the one you received on August 12th,
Thank you,
2016?
Camille.
When I had clicked the direct link that we received and watched the video in its entirety, it was much shorter than the video we had received, than the video that's been played in this trial. There was a bit at the beginning that was played here in which Ms. Heard is seemingly sort of setting up the camera and getting into position. And then there's a bit at the end where she's seemingly sniggering and looks at the camera, that part was not present in what we received.
Did TMZ edit the video?
No, not even a little. When we receive something and it's edited, there's a clear indicator because there's sort of the journalistic practice that uses. When there's an edit, you do what's called like a white flash transition, which covers the entire screen with white. So very clearly indicate to everybody there was an edit here for time or whatever, just to make it a little more compelling. But in this case, it was not edited, as I was staring at the machine that edited it and present for the entirety of receipt to publishing.
When was the next time you worked on an assignment related to Amber Heard?
It was, well, there was the time where we went to the airport. And then the day after that, because she had flown in for the deposition, because I think the first time didn't work out. So she was arriving again for the deposition in that same parking lot adjacent to a law office.
And what's that, August 13th, 2016?
That was August 13th, yeah.
And what was your assignment on August 13th, 2016?
To dispatch camera people to that parking lot at a specific time in order to film Amber Heard arriving for the deposition.
How did you know that tip was legitimate?
It came from a news producer.
That doesn't mean it's legitimate.
While you worked at TMZ, did you ever receive any communications from Mr. Depp or his camp?
I did not.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Cross-examination?
Yes. So.
What are you going to do, Elaine?
How do you know
What are you going to do?
video was shown at this trial?
I was alerted by a friend that that TMZ was being kind of talked about in this trial, and so I had seen a clip of that.
So you watched some of this trial?
Correct.
Okay. When did you first reach out to counsel for Mr. Depp?
I believe that was 6 days ago, whatever that date would be. I'd have to do that.
All right. And then you received
they didn't even get to voir dire this guy.
yesterday in care of your attorney, Cindy Hickox, right?
Correct.
Okay. And Cindy Hickox represents Christy Dombrowski, Kate James, Robin Baum. and
Objection,
Debbie
Your
Lloyd.
Honor.
Were you aware
Calls
of
for
that?
speculation.
Overruled.
Were you aware of that?
No.
Now, if you don't have information that's helpful to this case, then you wouldn't be a witness, correct?
Objection, calls for
can't-
speculation.
Yeah, you don't know that.
Sustained. Next question.
I'm not
All right.
aware.
Okay, you know this case is being televised, right?
I am aware that there are cameras.
And
It
so this
is?
gets you your 15 minutes of fame. doesn't it?
Objection, Your Honor. Argumentative.
I can ask that question.
Overruled.
So I stand to gain nothing from this. I'm actually putting myself kind of in the target of TMZ, a very litigious organization, and I'm not seeking any 15 minutes here. Though you're welcome to speculate. I could say the same thing by taking Amber Heard as a client for you.
Oh,
look at the Eli guy.
Mr. Depp's attorneys
15
were
minutes
well
of
aware
cat
of the
bang.
trial that was going to be presented on May 27th.
Objection,
her
calls for
cats made her
speculation.
take the case
you aware
because
of
she
that?
heard Amber Heard
Lack of
smell like a
foundation.
fish market.
Overruled.
Can you restate the question?
Were you aware that Mr. Depp's divorce attorneys were aware that Amber Heard was going in to seek a TRO on May 27th?
I don't think I understand the question, but I don't think so, no.
Okay.
It's
Do
kind of a
you
complicated
know whether Blair Burke,
Hey,
one
Sarah.
of Mr. Depp's
It was.
divorce
And
attorneys,
boom.
had a very close
Boom goes the
relationship with
dynamite.
TMZ at that time?
Objection, calls for speculation.
Overruled. If he knows.
I was not aware of that.
Okay.
Oh my
and
gosh.
When you
Stop
said
it.
that
Stop
you were
it.
dispatched
Stop
twice,
it.
once to film Amber
Okay, so
in a parking lot
when I
for the
said
deposition,
Sarah,
and then it didn't work out, and so you had to
the
do it
computer
another time.
thought I'd said
How
her
did you know
name.
it didn't work out?
I
Because
started talking.
TMZ.com posted an article saying as much.
Okay.
And
Do you
I was
know-
not dispatched.
Do you
I
know
worked in the office.
why the deposition did not work out?
I'd have to reference the article, I forget.
So do you know?
I didn't write
Oh,
that
this
story.
one.
I wasn't involved in the
Do
actual
you know
journalism.
Boom
which
goes the
side?
dynamite.
Do you know which side would have known or
Objection,
not
he doesn't
known
know
whether that deposition
about
was
this
going to
article?
work out? In other words, the people representing
I
Mr.
would
Depp and
expect
people
they would
representing Ms. Heard.
both know.
wouldn't.
Okay. And then the video clip. You don't know who provided that, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Not testifying to
I have
that.
no further.
All right, redirect.
Mr. Tremaine, why did you contact me in relation to this case?
I
'Cause you're
saw
hot.
that there was a discrepancy with like the video that was shown here and the video that I know I had received. So I had no interest in testifying. I had reached out simply to maybe try to help with the timeline of things or help with the case in any way, just by virtue of understanding the timeline of the stories that were published and kind of how that can be unclear. But I had no idea I'd be on the stand.
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, sir, you're
It
free.
certainly wasn't out of sexual interest.
All right.
Ah!
You have another witness?
Bronca!
Okay.
That was brutal.
Mr. Depp calls Brian Newmeister here.
Love it.
All right, Brian
Oh,
Newmeister.
God. They're just
And that-
spoiling me today.
That Elaine headshot. I could say the same about you if taking Amber on as a
Oh,
client.
my
She
God.
took that one to the
Between
face.
eyes. Between
Even-
the eyes.
Even
Oh,
she had to
geez.
laugh at that one.
The man is a sniper.
Yeah, that was good. That was worth it. I was sitting here thinking, why are we
TMZ
doing
Draco,
this?
man.
I don't want to do any more of these boring guys. I want to mow my yard. Finish it. Oh, I'm such a whiner, aren't I?
Yes,
Such a
ma'am.
baby.
Good afternoon, Mr. Newmeister.
Good afternoon.
Could you please state your full name for the record?
It's Norbert, Norbert.
Of course it is.
Newmeister, Neumeister.
Norbit
Could you start by
Newmeister?
describing your educational background, please?
He has like
My
7
educational
degrees.
background, well, I
I was
graduated
bullied throughout
from
my
State
educational
University
career.
Northridge 42 years ago with a degree in political science.
Hey!
From then on, I've been working professionally in photography, totally unrelated, for the past 42 years. And that would also include videography, audio, and a few other different binary related tasks.
Where do you currently work?
I own USA Forensic.
Oh,
What
yeah.
is USA Forensic?
USA Forensic is a digital forensics company. We are boutique. We're very small. We work. We have offices in Grosse Pointe Farms, Michigan, and in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh.
We work with varying types of clients because to us, data is data and it takes no side. So we could be ending
True.
up working for prosecution, defense, law enforcement, the Innocence Project. We have a contract with the Department of Defense. We do classified and unclassified work.
Oh, wow.
We've done classified work with various agencies. We've worked with DOJ, and I've worked in 23 countries as a photographer.
What's your title at USA
But
Forensic?
were you ever a
CEO.
Playboy photographer?
Did you also found USA Forensic?
Originally, in around 1990, it was called
CEN,
Skymeister.
Chief Executive
And
Nerd.
that is because of the amount of helicopter photography time I have. About 10 years ago, we changed it to USA Forensic while still doing a lot of the same tasks.
And you described, I think, some of the entities that you work with. What kind of work do you do for those entities that you mentioned?
We do audio forensics, which is clarifying audio, for example, sting operations or audio that may have been picked up on surveillance or any other type of recording, removing background sounds. Video clarification, we do a lot of work with Axon cameras.
Checked on relevance based on the discussion we had earlier. This experience has absolutely nothing to do with anything.
All right. Do you have an objection to him being moved in as an expert in the field?
Well, she hasn't moved yet. I'm objecting to the relevance of the testimony.
Then
on
this
the
is his
subject matter
CV,
right
you
now.
dummy.
I'll overrule the objection. Thank you, Your Honor.
Exactly, bro.
Go ahead, Mr. Newmeister. You can continue.
Where I left off is we do a lot of work with Axon police cameras because they don't really handle low lux levels or low light levels very well. So we clean up. We are beta testers for a program called Input Ace, which is part of the
beta.
Axon company used by police officers. We clarify their cameras to better see what happened at night, for example, in different scenes. We do the same with surveillance cameras, any kind of camera, cell phone cameras. We also do cell phone forensics, computer forensics, and cell tower forensics, along with photographic forensics.
What types of cases do you work on?
It can be anything from Fortune 500s to it can be anything from a pro per, which is a person that's actually just representing themselves in a smaller case, to a lot of homicide cases. defamation. It could be any kind of case that requires cell phone extractions or computer extractions. Could be money laundering. Could be a Department of Defense identifying a voice, that type of thing. Satellite imagery, and basically anything with binary information.
Have you been retained as an expert before?
Oh, yes. I would say we average about 150 to 200 cases a year. In the last 4 years, we've done over 600 cases, and that would be in U.S. federal courts, U.S. district courts, various state courts throughout the United States. We just wrapped up a case that was an overseas case, wrapped up yesterday. We do U.S. military court. We have a case coming up in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. So it's really varied. I've done quite a few U.S. district court cases.
Have you testified as an expert in digital forensics before?
Yes. And what people sometimes don't understand is only about 2% of all cases go to trial. So 98% of the time, you're actually just doing the forensic work and getting it to the parties. And as we say, data is data. It really doesn't take a side. We don't have a narrative. So very often it's just providing the data for the attorneys to work with or the parties.
Have you ever been excluded from testifying as an expert regarding any work that you performed?
No, but you have to take into account that sometimes there might be curbs put on what, for example, in this trial, there's certain boundaries. Or if you're working with a proper or with a attorney that is not very familiar with electronics. And the thing is, again, they teach Latin in law school, not binary. And binary is the universal language these days. So sometimes in the legal system, it's a little bit hard to explain to attorneys what exactly we're doing. So we try to break it down and make that work.
Boomers.
What is digital forensics?
Digital forensics is anything that you are using, like your television set, your cell phone, your computer, anything that runs off of binary information that has coding in it.
How long have you worked in digital forensics?
Well, I actually started off in analog, so it's been 40 some odd years. I started off as a cameraman. My first cameras were film cameras. When I was a kid, my dad was a director of sales and sales service administration for the NBC television network on the West Coast. So I grew up around television cameras. My first cameras were cameras people might not have heard of, Leica,
Kodak,
cameras like that. I trained with some of the best photographers around at the time, William Wallner, Niall Latham, really excellent photographers.
OG camera aficionado there with Leica.
I started shooting videotape from helicopters, and I logged about 14,700 hours of video. And at that time, oddly enough, since we were the only helicopter, a television helicopter, we were the only helicopter in Phoenix. At the time, the sheriff's department did not have a helicopter. The police department did not have a helicopter, nor did Aerovac. So we ended up doubling up, being a news crew as well as an air rescue crew. So as far as forensics, analog probably from 1980 to 1990 and digital from 1990 through current.
I'm an expert, but I'm also something of a hero.
Really by osmosis. I started in the production field. I usually don't do that much TV work anymore. I did shoot part of an episode, a program called Planet Earth for the BBC last year. I don't normally do television anymore. It's just 99% forensics. But I got started because very often as working in a helicopter, we'd be asked to work for a police department, a rescue or a chase or whatever the situation might be. And since I'd be videoing it, they would ask me to break it down frame by frame and analyze it using what's called a time-based corrector in the day. And so word got out that I could do unusual things because I'm pretty good with machines. And it just ended up, more and more people started calling and it just became a full-time job.
Have you received any professional certifications in forensics?
Yes, but again, most hackers and people who do interesting work don't have any certifications because the certification is usually like a week-long course. I've been doing this stuff 42 years. My partner, Matt Erickson, he's actually a
Objection, Your Honor, to the partner who's not testifying to
All
these
right.
qualifications on relevance.
Sustained objection. Mr. Neumeister, can you just describe which professional certifications you have received?
for cell phones, Oxygen, which is a program similar to Celebrite. But these are programs that are used by law enforcement and by private parties to extract data from cell phones that has been deleted or which is critical in a lot of cases, deleted data, or just to what we call image a cell phone. In other words, get every bit of data that's possible on a cell phone. And again, every cell phone is different. The next would be in cell tower forensics.
Are you a member of any professional associations in your field?
Yes, IEEE, which is the International Engineering Society. And the reason I belong to that is about 40% of the world's white papers on electronics are published through IEEE. So they have a huge database on anything from microwave technology to telephone transmission technology. Anything that I might work with, they might have a white paper on it. Also, with the Audio Engineering Society, AES, I'm a member of that. I lecture to AES. There's a few others, but again, they're just mainly to have a repository of information.
Have you received any honors or awards?
Yes, I've received about 80 honors and awards. I have
All of them? All of the
for
honors and
videography.
awards?
I've got a total of 12 Emmy Award statues, but I've been the principal in 39 Emmy Awards, which means I've written the music for the program.
The Thomas Edison cylindrical phonograph.
The Emmy Award for music, but it was given to the production company, which happens a lot. I won for best editing. I won for best ace editing, which is computer editing. Best sound. I've won, done the music to a piece that won the Gold Lion at the Cannes Film Festival. I've done music to a piece that won the gold at the Calgary Film Festival. I've got a lot of awards from Associated Press and different companies from doing documentaries.
I'm gonna ready cut this off because
Have you
he's
published any
insufferable.
works in the field of digital forensics?
Yes, and they're mostly articles, about a half dozen of them or so. We don't have much time, and I don't usually do it, but it was basically on most of my work deals around clarifying or authenticating.
I wish
So
I'd
it
had
was
time to do the
basically the
entire
things
Johnny
I
Depp
published were
trial.
on clarification of digital files.
Have you appeared on TV as an expert in digital forensics?
Yes,
Where?
CBS, NBC, ABC, BBC, Discovery Channel, a number of different things.
Any particular examples of things that you've spoken on TV about?
Boston bombings, how the frame averaging was done on that, sort of things like that. Again, we get
Yeah, the
calls a
Boston
lot, but I don't
bombings
speak
have a lot of stuff on
specifically about cases. I just speak about technology.
Have you given any public lectures in the field of digital forensics?
Yes, we get asked quite often, but due to our schedule, it's a little rough. We do
Had to take a break
what's
and
called
came back.
court. We do, we speak in front of
I'm about to
private
take another break
investigator
to.
groups. We do attorneys continuing legal education.
Well, I'll be back if I take a break.
Just Audio Engineering Society, just we try to do a few a year, and that's about.
Oh, you're not here to testify that Amber Heard's a pleading mackerel, are you?
I just would like to tender Mr. Neumeister as
You
an
guys are gonna have to
expert in
take
the
care of
field
it
digital
in the
forensics.
chat.
Any objection?
No objection,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
so moved.
The rabbit
Mr.
will be
Neumeister,
here in
train
an
the work
hour, and
you've
I
done
don't
in
have the
this case.
backyard mode.
What
It
have
took
you
me about 30 minutes to do
I was
that.
asked to analyze the photographs of reported injuries to Miss Heard.
Oh, my next door neighbor.
And what was the purpose of that
His
analysis?
mowers are out.
To authenticate photos.
He pays
or
for
to,
mowing.
to review and see if they were altered in any way.
What did you analyze to reach your opinions?
Well, I analyzed groups of
Now I know I
photos that
gotta
were
get this
submitted
done.
by Miss Heard's legal team.
What work did you do to analyze those photographs?
Well, normally you
All right,
start
guys,
off by
I'll be
looking
back.
at what's called the Exif data. The Exif data is the binary data that's encoded.
So he was hired by Heard's legal team?
It tells you, for example,
He just reviewed what she submitted in
if the
Discovery.
flash
Oh, I
fired,
see. Okay. Got it.
what the operating software version was of the cell phone or camera that shot a photo, what type of lens was used, what the f-stop was. There's literally about 1,000 lines of code in the Exif data on a JPEG photo. So we would start with an Exif editor or an Exif viewer.
Anything else that you looked at?
Yes, when we're dealing with RGB cameras, which are red, green, and blue channel cameras, which would be a cell phone or a basic home camera, they're based on RGB channels. We would do four types of scopes. We would do a vector scope, we do a luminance scope, we do a waveform scope, and then what's called an RGB parade. And those scopes analyze different things. The vector scope analyzes where the different types of colors are headed in, for example, it's broken up into reds, magenta, different areas on a scope. We would take a look at that to see if there's anything out of the normal for the type of camera being used. In other words, would there be above a certain percentage of chroma? And chroma means color saturation.
Objection, Your Honor. Outside the scope, we can approach.
All right,
Like,
want to approach?
How is this outside the scope of asking whether or not something was edited? It's to talk about how you detect for editing. Here's all the things we do. Your Honor, well, maybe if they didn't find any editing, maybe that's what he's going to say. Maybe he's just going to say they didn't find anything. That could be the answer.
That seems
Ladies,
likely.
Gentlemen, it's 4:30 a.m. here. I've got to get my 2 hours sleep before I go to work.
All right. See you, buddy.
All right, legal
Thank you
advice.
for having me on
Karen.
again, Dave. Good night, folks.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, Norbert here is the destroyer. I mean, this guy has nerd cred out the fucking building. And first of all, his name is Norbert, which gives him all of it. Like, he didn't even have to go to school. He could just sit down at a computer and learn it intuitively. But yeah, the whole like, yeah, well, we flew a helicopter. No one else had one. So we also rescued babies. Like, this guy's great. I can attest to technical certifications being actually absolutely worthless. As a certified expert on cybersecurity law with a damn certificate to prove it, I can tell you that I would not hire me in my present state as a cybersecurity expert. I would need to do so much fucking catch up. Yeah, tech moves way too fast for these certifications, in my opinion. And I always love going to like a community college graduation and listening to all the people who got their certification in Microsoft Excel or whatever. the Microsoft Office Suite certification. Like, really?
Yeah.
It's a 2-year program.
Mr. Neumeister, based on the analysis you performed in this case, have you formed any opinions?
Pardon?
Based on the analysis you've done in this case, have you formed any opinions?
Yes.
What are they?
Well, 3 basic ones. One is quite a number of the photos have been through a photo, at least one, possibly two.
objection, Your Honor. Foundation, which photos is he referring to? We have to go through this one by one.
One's in evidence. Mr. Neumeister, in terms of the photos that you looked at and that you formed opinions about, do you understand if they've been submitted as evidence in this case?
Yes.
Okay. And what conclusions have you formed about those?
Same objection, Your Honor. That doesn't cure the issue of the objection. We have to go through this. Which photos is she talking about? Which one's in evidence? What exhibit numbers? That's the basis of the
We're
objection.
talking generally about opinions right now, Your Honor, and we're going to get into some specifics.
I think we have to go straight to specifics.
Okay.
All right, we'll bring up each picture.
Then you can go general.
Yeah.
So all the photos we looked at
were edited in some way. Is it possible that there were other edits made?
Mr. Neumeister, have you prepared a demonstrative that aids in your testimony with respect to any of the photos that you looked at in this case?
Yes.
Once again, it's the Depp team that has the demonstrative.
1303, Your Honor, if I might approach.
The only Amber Heard demonstrative that I remember was the one shitty chart that the guy had to
Your Honor,
redraw because it didn't prove his point.
Can't object. We can approach to discuss it.
Wait, so you're going to object to his demonstrative, which necessarily is going to have the images with the probably side-by-side comparisons or like the chroma, like the chromatic aberrations or whatever the hell he's going to talk about? Like, You just objected to the generals.
I want to
They
see
know-
one with a big mackerel on it.
They know how bad it's going to look when this guy shows that
Yeah.
the colors were enhanced to show bruising that wasn't there. They know how
Delaying the
fucking bad that's going to
inevitable.
look. I can't wait. That's juicy. Let me see if I can get a super chat or two in while we're here. Nope, it sounded like it was coming back. SR Vaughn 1003. Someone on Johnny Depp's team should point the arrogance and smugness of the defendant. Perverted glee she demonstrates when Johnny Depp relates how he was abused by her. No, they shouldn't do that. Not in court.
Tom, can we pull up Defendant's Exhibit 170A, which has been admitted into evidence?
So they weren't able to get the demonstrative in now. I guess they
Mr.
maybe need
Neumeister,
to.
Does this photo appear to be
Could
one
be.
that you have analyzed as part of your analysis in this case?
There were many versions of this photo.
No.
Dozens of different versions with different chromatic values, different file sizes, different physical sizes. Some had been through Photos 1 or Photos 3, which are photo editing software programs.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to show Mr. Neumeister's demonstrative, Plaintiff's Exhibit 1303.
All right, any other objection?
I would object again, Your Honor, because the photograph in 170A is not in evidence.
All right.
Or, yeah, I mean, the photograph is in evidence. None of the photographs he wishes to show the jury are in evidence.
1303 is in evidence over objection. Oh, not in evidence, I'm sorry, as a demonstrative.
Just as a demonstrative.
I'm sorry.
Can we go to
Published
1303,
history.
please? And
none of
Mr.
these
Neumeister, what
photos
does this
were introduced
demonstrative
'cause they're all
show
edited.
about the photos that you analyzed?
Well, they appear to be similar. However, if you look below at the file sizes, one on the left is 712 kilobytes. The one in the middle is 489 kilobytes. And the one on the right is 524 kilobytes. Now, what's unusual about that is these photos will not digitally fingerprint with each other. They won't hash. In other words, forensically, they don't match. But the thing is, you could say, well, it was sent through email. Maybe it's a different size. The file sizes, for example, would be possibly, you can select the file size, you send a photo, but there's no way to authenticate any photo that was presented in the way the evidence was collected.
And so what conclusions do you draw from that?
Well, this is just three of many of the same type of photos that are all different sizes and have different chromatic, which means color.
Objection, Your Honor. We just had a ruling on this.
All right, sustained objection.
Mr. Neumeister, stick to your opinions that relate specifically to what you analyzed about the Exif data, please.
All three of these photos had to go through some type of transformation to change sizes.
We can take that one down.
They
you
may be better
mentioned,
off with him explaining the
photos
transformations
1.5
than
and photos
objecting to
3.0
them,
earlier, I
honestly.
believe.
Yeah.
Photos,
What is that?
Photos 3 and Photos 1.5 are editing programs that Macintosh or Apple put out with their product. It's for editing photos. In other words, you would put a photo in and you would change the colors, or you would crop it, or you would clarify it by enhancing, for example, the sharpening, or you could darken it. But when you save a photo through an editing program, you leave a mark on the Exif data.
And what is the Exif data?
The Exif data is the data that is embedded in a photograph that tells you a lot about the photograph. And again, in the early days when we were using film cameras, you would write down the f-stop, which is the light setting. You would write the type of lens you use, the time of day, the type of film stock, the type of filters you're using. Now with digital cameras, that's done electronically. And there's about 1,000 lines of code, of which 50 are probably important, that tell you what the camera was doing.
So what's the significance of Exif data in your photo analysis?
Well, in this situation, I can see that normally where the operating system of the camera would be, which means the version that of operating system the phone is running on, it would normally say something like, I'll just throw out an arbitrary number, 9.1.3 operating system for iOS, which is Apple's iPhone operating system. Instead of saying that, it says software Photos 3.0 or Photos 1.0. That means that the photo had to be rendered, which means composited
Oops.
together in an editing program.
Whoops.
Did you prepare a demonstrative that shows some of your analysis of some of the Exif data of the photos in this case?
Yes, I did.
Okay, can we pull up 1304, please? Your Honor, may I approach? You okay?
Your Honor, we'd prefer if she didn't approach. It kind of makes my client look like a piece of shit.
Permission to publish as a demonstrative, Your Honor.
Any objection?
Yes,
Any
because
objection, Mr.
I'm sorry,
Murphy?
Your Honor. My
She wishes to
co-counsel's talking.
publish
I'm
it
so sorry.
as a demonstrative.
sorry, we're desperately reviewing this, trying to figure out how we are.
No objections demonstrative.
All right, thank you. We'll publish it as 1304, just as a demonstrative.
And Mr. Neumeister, are these images in this demonstrative excerpts from the report you prepared in this case?
Yes, they are.
And what do they show? What do they show?
On this particular photo and on all of them, it shows the first few lines of Exif data, the ones that would be most important for this photograph. So, for example, things you would see, the very top line would be the make of phone. It's an Apple iPhone 6. And then the resolution is 72 pixels per inch, 72:1. And instead, where it says software on a normal iPhone photo, it would, instead of saying photos 3, it would say the software version, for example, 9.3.1. And then you've got the date and the time of the photo below that, which is really easy to change in an Exif editor. And below that, you have things like the exact, like the flash. You've got the exposure type, how long the exposure was. So what you just highlighted there again was the date and time. So that's universal time code minus whatever area you're in the world.
Anything else you want to show us with this demonstrative?
Yeah, just below that, if you look, there's some things that would say, for example, a directly photographed image. That is not going to be necessarily accurate once it's been through an editor. It will always pretty much say that. So when you're looking at scene type or auto exposure, these are things that really don't matter all that much. What would matter is, for example, if you're taking notes, the focal length would be important. The pattern of metering, things like that to a photographer would be important. And again, this is just a few lines, and the reason I put these in there was just to explain a bit what Exif data is. The actual thing I'm trying to point out is the fact that instead of an operating system, it shows the editing program that was used on this photo.
Are there additional photos that you did this analysis for?
Yes, many.
Can we scroll to the next page, please, Tom? Is there anything about this photo that you noted as part of your analysis, Mr. Neumeister?
Yes, again, it's
same thing every photo.
Right there, you've got photos 3.0 on that particular photo. And I think, we've pretty much covered what this stuff is, but again, you see the photos 3.0. And again, this could not come out of an iPhone this way. This would go into a computer, be edited and rendered through the photo editor. And this would then be embedded in the Exif data.
Do you have other photos in this demonstrative?
Yes.
All right, can we scroll to the next page?
Same thing. You've got up here on the top, you've got the photos 3.0. And this is throughout a lot of the photos that are in evidence, or versions of the photos in evidence, were gone through photos 3.0 or photos 1.5, an earlier version.
Can we scroll to the next page, please, Tom? And what about this one?
Same thing, photos 3.0. And again, in a photo editing app, you can do an awful lot of things. So when you see photos 3.0, first of all, it's not anywhere near an original. There's going to be compression artifacts because it's a JPEG file.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Can we move on to the next page of this demonstrative, please?
And again, same thing. You've got the photos app.
He must not be allowed to
And I
talk
believe
about
there's
the color
one final
shifts
photo in
or the
this
compression.
demonstrative. What about this one?
Again, if you look up there, it says photos 3.0 on that particular photo.
Were pixels
We'll take
added?
that one down. Your Honor, I have a little bit left. I don't know if you wanted to.
All right, you want to take our afternoon? Let's go ahead and take our afternoon recess.
Can you explain
Just, do not
interpolation?
discuss the case and don't do any outside research. Thank you.
We need a meme of that image with Rittenhouse peering over his lawyer's shoulder, looking at the big screen. Amber Heard behind him with a raised knife.
You know what I want? I want them on closing to use Pam from The Office. You know the meme with her looking at the two different
These pictures are not
The same picture.
and just have it's the same picture. Specifically with that one color corrected of her cheek that people have done that shows that
Yeah.
it's the exact same one. Like
And the
it's
one
the
with
same
the wine
picture.
bottle from December and from May that she used
Yeah,
for
that-
the two incidents.
That would be great.
I'm just going to be very happy if they can get the tablescape in through this guy. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be really good if they did. Right now, it kind of seems like his testimony is being curbed. He mentioned it, that his testimony is being curbed. It sounds like they really wanted him to talk about artifacting, about compression, about the color correction. And I'm not so sure he's going to get to. It sounds like he's limited to just saying in the Exif data, this went through a photo editor of some sort. So on cross, their strategy will be, now you say this went through photos 1.5, 1.3, isn't, or photos 3. Isn't it true that that's the photo software that's built into the Apple iPhone? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't it true that if you just maybe zoomed in a little bit or reframed the photo, that it would show that it went through this photo editing software? Yes. Isn't it possible there's no color correction done? There's no intent to deceive with this. It's just a factor of maybe framing a photo a little bit better than the original shot. You know, questions like that to try and discredit the fact that these have been edited in some sort. And this is why photo metadata becomes such a weird and touchy subject. And it's what they tried to do in Rittenhouse, right? Everybody has zoomed in on your iPhone. Everybody's pinched to zoomed. So this isn't crazy to bring it into court, but it might be crazy. You know, it might be. Now we've got an issue because these photos are in evidence. This isn't an exclusion thing. So now the jury gets to make their decision about how much they trust the evidence that's in front of them after this guy talks about it.
I do wonder, I mean, I agree. Obviously, there's been some type of limitations imposed on what he's being allowed to talk about. It does seem to have to do with evidence of actual modification as opposed to just the Exif data. I just don't know that I can trust Amber's team to not open that door in the cross, you know, to just get greedy about just because it's in this photo editing app doesn't mean it's actually been edited. And wouldn't that open the door to say, well, I know it's been edited because of these other reasons that you got excluded from trial.
That's true. If they do that, then on redirect, maybe they can counter it. That's funny.
We'll see. Just got to see their discipline.
And this judge's willingness to let them kick open the door.
Yeah.
Was it you who said that you felt like the judge was maybe couching things expecting an appeal from Amber and not so
Yes.
much from Johnny?
Yes, I think I just think that pattern is clear from the rulings and really has been for a long time, that essentially when in doubt, Amber is absolutely getting the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I think so. Which is telling, because if the judge is anticipating an appeal from one side, there's two reasons for that. One, they think that side is likely to come out losing. And the other reason for that would be that they believe, combining that with one side being more motivated to appeal. If Johnny Depp's intent is to get this out into the public, even if he loses, he may not be motivated to appeal, especially with the prospect of losing a case and appealing it is really low when there's a jury verdict, unless you have some really egregious thing. And she's been pretty cautious, I think. So,
yeah. No, she has a very clear sense of the litigious nature of the personalities she's been dealing with for, quite some time in this case now. So I think that's abundantly clear.
Yeah, I think so too. So some internet sleuths have found the supposed name of the person owning the phone number in Johnny Depp's thing.
Oh, God.
I don't know. I don't really want to say who it is, because I don't feel like putting a random person on blast to 80,000 people. So I know people out there have been looking into the number, but I'm not going to say it online, because I just, if it's wrong, it doesn't need to be in public. And two, even if it's right, I'm not so sure that it needs to be in public. The main thing about those text messages for me is Johnny Depp's team really should have resolved what that outcoming was on the discrepancy, because it looks like a text coming into his phone, either from a group text that involved him and Stephen Deuters, or from someone else. But Stephen Deuters is listed, he's listed, but I feel it looks like there's more numbers on there, and the number that was listed is not Stephen Deuters or Johnny Depp. Mm-hmm. So it's very interesting. It is Sam Hyde. You're right. It is Sam Hyde. That's whose number it was. I'll put it out there. It was definitely Sam Hyde. Right before he did the most recent mass shooting, Sam Hyde was texting with Johnny Depp. That's true. That's a true fact. God. So you can see him. Actually, there are pictures of Sam Hyde driving around texting Johnny Depp with his arm out the window of his car, holding a gun.
Well, he was playing Marilyn Manson music, I'm sure.
Yes. By the way, there's an update in the Marilyn Manson case, or one of the Marilyn Manson cases.
Yes.
The judge ruled that Ashley Walters' case against Marilyn Manson is dismissed, and she cannot sue him anymore for the same charges of her past claim.
Yes. So Ashley Walters is one. She had a big statute of limitations problem, which she attempted to cure by alleging that she had repressed her memories of abuse, which of course is a little bit consistent with then filing a complaint on the basis of your claims of abuse that you're claiming that you lost your memories of. So clearly the judge just did not buy this at all. And I think that's clearly the right outcome.
Yeah. The statute of limitations exists for very good reasons. And in fact, there are a few places where we get rid of the statute of limitations by statute, usually murder, in some cases sexual assault or sexual abuse. And I'm suspect of any removal of statute of limitations, including on murder. I know that it's really always cool when it's like digital forensics has put together a case and brought down a murderer who's eluded capture for 62 years. But at the same time, like, the reason the statute exists is because witnesses and evidence deteriorate. And so, yeah. and people's minds get polluted by what they read about or see about that event, or even other events that they incorporate into their own memories. So, yeah, it's that's why statute of limitations should work. And yeah, it's also why victims of assault or domestic, sexual, or otherwise should immediately contact authorities. You should not be a victim of domestic assault or sexual assault or regular assault. You should contact the authorities. Don't let anybody tell you that you should not do that, and that you should not, that being a victim is okay, or you should just tough it out or whatever. Contact them right away. That's the most critical thing. Yeah. And don't
and
stay
if you
in
shoot anybody, you might check out hardtoconvict.com.
That's true. That's true.
We may prove helpful. But don't do that unless you really, really have to.
Yeah, the people encouraging you to stay in abusive relationships or whatever, please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't.
And incidentally, no responsible relationship counselor should ever, under any circumstances, if learning that a relationship is abusive, ever encourage that relationship to continue.
No.
The duty needs to immediately shift to how do we keep this person safe and how do we transition them into a position where their safety can be maintained.
Absolutely. Andrea, can you answer a question for me? I mean, I assume you can. That's why I'm asking. Was Amber Heard actually a stripper? Was that testified to?
It hasn't been testified to overtly, but so this comes up in the audio recording. One of the audio recordings that they made after the split, but before the divorce. And in that, Amber Heard is berating Johnny for, among other things, telling people about the fact that she had been a stripper. And Johnny Depp is defending himself, saying, no, you trusted me with that information and I never told anybody. So basically, I don't know how that's out there. But of course, now this audio is out there, so we all know this was a thing and that she didn't like it much that was public.
Okay, so then the follow-up question is, do we know what her stripper name was?
Probably Amber Heard.
God.
Maybe that's the Molly.
I think it was Crystal with 3 Ks.
Crystal Molly.
No, that Molly thing, it's just so weird because you'd think if Johnny Depp had sent that text, and that text looks really bad. This is why that text does look, I mean, a little bit bad, mainly because he said, I would never say that. That's horrifying. He's like, well, here you are saying it. And he looks befuddled. They should really, this is, again, what bothers me is they should point out that it wasn't him. So it goes to his credibility. But there's been no testimony in this entire case and his very public life about anyone named Molly. No affairs, no relationships. I can't think. Molly Ringwald is the only actress I can think of named Molly. And I don't think it's her. Probably. I mean, I don't know. It's around the same age category.
It goes to the danger of, be careful about what you text, folks. It's like the old mafia caution, right? It's like never write when you can speak, never speak when you can nod, never nod when you can wink. Just all these communications are discoverable.
Yeah.
And I do have to wonder, isn't this mackerel, was the mackerel joke was that comment a Led Zeppelin joke, or was that just me? I read that as a Led Zeppelin joke. There's a whole story about the grouper and the fish, and it's kind of gross, but one of those stories of the rock star excess. Am I speaking?
We got to get Andrea high. This sounds like a great story.
It's just this one of these stories that has floated around for decades, I think, about a backstage party with Led Zeppelin, where supposedly a groupie was shall we say ravished with a fish, and more and more details about that have, I guess, spilled out over the years. And apparently the groupie herself has come forward and said, yeah, it happened and it was fine. I was cool with it.
Okay, so the Led Zeppelin wants to file the groupie with a mud shark. The backstory. The most notorious of all Zeppelin legends began when the band played the Seattle Pop Festival on July 27, 1969, then retired to the Edgewater Inn. The building sits atop Seattle's Puget Sound. Guests can actually fish directly from their windows. 1985 Led Zeppelin biography Hammer of the Gods, which got much of its information from Zepp road manager Richard Cole, describes a graphic scene in one of the rooms. Quote, a pretty young groupie with red hair was disrobed and tied to the bed, wrote author Stephen Davis. Led Zeppelin then proceeded to stuff pieces of shark into her vagina and rectum.
Oh, what?
Those are the quotes
sideways
from
there
the book.
again, man.
That's the story.
The truth, this from Rolling Stone magazine. The truth, this one's fishy. A different version of the mud shark incident has Cole as the fish-wielding culprit. The band Vanilla Fudge have also claimed responsibility for the incident. Their drummer, Carmen Apis, says the girl in question was a groupie who tagged along with him, and his keyboardist, Mark Stein, filmed the entire encounter. Zeppelin was supposedly in the hotel at the time, though only John Bonham was around for the incident. Somewhere out there is a 60-something woman who might be able to confirm the whole thing, but it's hard to imagine her coming forward. So there you go. That's the That's the story. Who knows? Who knows? Quivering like a mackerel or whatever. But again, the thing is that bothers me. It says incoming on there. The text that Johnny Depp handed over, to my knowledge, are Johnny Depp's text messages, not anyone else's. So if it says incoming, that doesn't make sense. All of his other texts say outgoing that I've seen. Now, if somebody has seen any other Depp texts in this trial that say outgoing on the picture, the image, please feel free to send them to me on Twitter or whatever. But I've only seen that I can remember outgoing. And I think that is a big miss on that, if that's true. Now, if they also submitted Stephen Duder's text records as part of their discovery disclosure, which I'm not sure why they would, because he's not in this case, then I guess that would change things potentially. I just don't know. You think the message was to Stephen Duder's from Johnny? Again, why? They didn't make that very clear.
That's not how Rottenborn set it up. Rottenborn set it up to make it clear that this was Johnny's phone. This was his production.
Yeah.
So
again, it's very just, it's possibly his. I'm not saying it's not, but it runs against how things were presented and what appears to be on the actual image to me. And that raises questions. And I really wanted the lawyers to address those questions, especially when you get Johnny Depp looking genuinely confused, because either he's lying and is a very convincing liar, or he has literally no idea what the hell those text messages are. And if he's in some multi-text thing and it comes in and he's in there, who knows? Like, if you add someone to a text chain with multiple people, you know that you can get out of hell faster than you can get out of a group text. Because everybody fucking responds to them, and then suddenly it's like you get a new thread on your phone every time you try to get out.
So
They're a
true.
nightmare. So
on Twitter too.
Yes.
Can't the judge do something about this? I mean, no. You gotta. You have to raise the objection somewhere. The interesting thing would be is if they went on break and found out that it was misrepresented, and then went and brought a motion back to the court to exclude and strike it as improper. They could try. I don't know that the judge would entertain it. But the other times he had bad evidence against him, he admitted it and gave it context. In this case, he vehemently denied it. Yeah, I get it. Molly is talking about drugs, maybe, but again, when I'm talking about drugs, I'm not usually talking about drugs having a vagina that you're going to bust open like a door, right? Like that just, I'm not going to go ahead and say it's about drugs personally. I think it's much more likely that it's someone else's text, frankly, based on the evidence I've seen. So
the problem here is just that it's yet another one of these completely out of context texts. So how is anybody supposed to make sense of what this means? If you had the entire conversation and could see what got you to this point of making this comment about Molly, then perhaps that would be clear. But if you're not even going to show Johnny that, it just seems like such an unfair effort to try to trip him up. To me, that is patently transparent.
Well, and why didn't his team raise the context of the conversation? Like you could rehabilitate that, and they didn't. And I think it might be because it doesn't make any sense, and there might not be context because this might be some one-off series of text messages from somebody who's not Johnny Depp and not Stephen Duders.
Yeah.
But I have no idea. That it bothers me because it's just something I want the answer to, and I don't think I'm going to get it ever. And I feel like if I feel that way, jurors might feel that way. And if a juror feels like something's been obscured from them, it can go both ways, but it could go poorly for Johnny. Here we go. Matthew Harvey says 7 hours. I've had the stream open, then Chrome decided it couldn't handle it anymore. Did you get the memory overflow thing where your chat window locked up? I got it. That thing pisses me off. I don't know what it is. I wish I didn't have it. I have so much RAM in this damn computer that it should never happen. Tug tweeted about the full context of text messages. Okay, let me check it out. Tug has so many. He's got fucking everything. Let's see. What do we got here? Oh, he has the love 'em, hit 'em thing. That was from a 1995 tabloid. So that's something different. Where do we have?
All right, we ready for the jury?
I'm looking for the context of those texts. I'm not seeing them
Just one
yet.
moment. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not seeing those texts. Yeah, Tug doesn't seem to have those texts listed, which again is curious because he has everything else. In fact, his Twitter's a nightmare today, full of information. People should check it out after the show or during if you want.
All right, we're ready for the jury.
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Bring on that jury. Let's finish with Norbert. They have anybody else after this? They haven't called Duders, but he's not on the list, the rebuttal list at all.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they call Steven. They could still potentially call Samantha McMillan. I haven't seen her name on the list yet either, but she is the stylist who was there on the December 15th.
Your next question. Thank you. Mr. Newmeister, do you have another demonstrative prepared that shows a photo with Exif data reflecting that it was saved in Photos 3?
Correct. Photos 3, yes.
Your Honor, we have a video of these photos, and we're happy to play it once so that counsel can review, if that's all right.
Okay.
Is it the videos just layered over each other? That would be great. We have a video clearly showing the editing that was going on. Oh my, let me Tails says I bet Molly is the Led Zeppelin groupie. The pescatarian. Okay. The amateur iconoclast says Zap Rousdower is Depp's driver. I guess that must be in relation to the mullet guy. The Rule of Rage says, much love, you Nick. Insert posh Ricada voiced. Dears Vices, I, a fellow follower of degeneracy, doth my wish to inquire into your mind and your desire to bequeath thy succulent balls, or therefore absence on thy wenches. He's not on here. We'll have him on a nighttime show and we'll ask him then. Prediction, main cross will be none of this pain came out until you sued over an article that didn't name you or those details and frame it so everything, including this trial, is his fault. Depp solid on the stand, though. No, the cross is actually just going directly to his credibility. And I think, that's probably a smart move by Rottenborn. Because I don't think you're selling a jury on the technical aspects of defamation. Well, it's only these 3 statements and not all the other stuff that Amber Heard did. Because if Amber Heard has been trying for 2 years to defame you and finally does it with this one thing, statute of limitations on the statements, the previous statements are going to be run. That's why these are in the case. But people recognize she's been trying to do this. Like, this was the goal, and she finally did it.
Yeah, the context matters.
Jenny Nicole says, career prosecutor specializing in domestic violence here. What a wild ride this trial has been from a trial advocacy standpoint.
Norbert looks so lonely there. Nobody will talk to me.
Just like normal.
I have to eat lunch by myself.
In my helicopter. Filming all of you. Corey Waters. Hey, Nick, hoping you can help to spread the word about this. Last August, the Calder wildfire devastated El Dorado County, which included my neighborhood. 2/3 of the home destroyed. GoFundMe /Waters
Right,
Home.
we took care of that, Your Honor. May we publish, or would you like to see it?
I'd just like to see it. Okay. And what's demonstrative business going to be then?
This is plaintiff's 1305, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
I got to shout out Tahoe real fast. I lived there for 3 years, 2000 to 2003. Beautiful, beautiful place. Worked on building a lot of the homes over in Fallen Leaf Lake that burned, not in the Calder fire, but the one before. So.
Yeah, that, the Midwest has tornadoes. California has fucking earthquakes and
Fires.
wildfires.
Mud and wildfires, yeah.
And use this demonstrative, you can publish to the jury.
We get the fires and mud here in Colorado and the California smoke. Thank you very much.
Mr. Newmeister, we're going to go ahead and play the demonstrative.
Up here in Eastern Washington, we have what they call termination winds.
What the demonstrative shows, that would be great.
Yes, ma'am.
David Hayter says, First Amendment applies to everyone, huh? Alex Jones would like to have a word with you. There it is. Yep.
Oh, yeah, they made it worse.
So, Mr. Newmeister, what was depicted in that video?
The same photo treated two different ways. One was marked with the original with the operating system from an iPhone, which is iOS 9.3.1 on that particular photo. The one this is 9.3.1. There is a graphic below indicating it. The second photo is marked Photos 3, and it looks quite a bit different.
And
Can't say why.
just, Tom, could we pull up defendant 708? Mr. Newmeister, does the image in defendant 708 appear to be similar, same photo as what was depicted in your demonstrative?
It's the Photos 3.0 edit version.
Thank you. We can take that one down, Tom.
The one they entered into evidence was the edited one. That's what he just told them.
Mr. Newmeister, have you also formed an opinion about defendants exhibits 712 and 713?
Correct.
Did you prepare a demonstrative that shows?
Your Honor, exhibit 712 and 715 are outside the scope.
I can show you if you'd like, Your Honor.
That was bad. He just showed the jury, even with the redaction box that they probably remember, because it's kind of weird to look at a photo with a big black box there and not have a nearly naked person next to it, is, this was edited. And you just saw how the edits were. You saw someone who went from having like mildly rosy cheeks to someone who had what looked like a wound. And that's what they showed you. And they knew it because they have all these photos.
Yep, they're the ones that handed them over.
Yep. Beautiful. Really a shame that he can't talk about the specific color correction and call attention to it. But
so did she lose that one?
We pull up plaintiff's exhibit 1306, Tom. And Your Honor, this is another video that, can you pause that, please?
Must have.
This is another video that we prepared. It's not published yet, so I'm happy to play it once through. So that
I would just request, what exhibits are they? I'm sorry, Your Honor. What exhibits are these that are in this video? It doesn't say. I don't know.
Yeah, I tried to get my question out a moment ago. Defendant 712 and 713, Your Honor.
Okay, 1306 then will be a demonstrative as identified in public.
And if we could go ahead and play that, please. Tom?
Sorry. What the fuck are you doing? Why did you do that?
And Mr. Neumeister,
There we
what's
go.
your,
Overlaying.
what do we see here in this demonstrative?
There's exhibit 712, I believe you have, I'm not sure the dates number, 712 and 713. They're two separate exhibits, except it's the exact same photograph that's been, one's been edited, one hasn't, or I can't say that one hasn't, but the colors have been modified in an editor.
Objection, Your Honor. Beyond the scope of your ruling, talking about colors. It keeps happening.
Yeah, just
Thank
tell
you.
the jury what you won't let him
Mr.
talk about.
Neumeister,
Good job, idiot.
In this case about the authenticity of the photos that you reviewed. Of
These are not the colors you were looking for.
First of all, nobody can identify the authenticity of the photos, of any of the photos. Marked photos 3, photos 1, or just marked with the operating system number. And the reason is the manner of collection. So these came from an iTunes backup. Now, what is an iTunes backup?
Objection, Your Honor. I'm sorry. You're beyond the scope of your ruling. Exif metadata. This keeps happening.
Your Honor, may I approach on this one?
He can show you that this is from an iTunes backup, likely in the Exif data.
Yeah,
And
why did the metadata get fucked up?
Your Honor, he's testifying about the fake bruises again. We object. This keeps happening, Your Honor.
I love that he just mentioned the colors thing. Your Honor, he's not supposed to talk about the colors that were edited. Like, that's what he just told the jury. If they're listening at all, we really don't want him to talk about the colors. So now they're going to be looking at every picture going, okay, what are the colors? What colors are there? Oh, God. This keeps happening. Of course, the interesting thing is, since the judge doesn't want to prejudice the jury, she won't announce the nature of the order on the objection to the guy. So he doesn't actually know that he can't talk about the colors. He can
So,
only
Mr.
kind of
Neumeister,
infer.
without going into the specifics, what's your opinion about the authenticity of the photos you received from Ms. Hurd?
Based on the way they were collected, there would be
Objection, Your Honor. We just ruled on this.
I framed my question, I thought, Your Honor, to avoid the issue that you're concerned about. Mr. Neumeister, what's your opinion about the authenticity here?
There's no way for any forensic expert to validate any of these photos.
Thank you very much. No further questions.
Good afternoon, Mr. Neumeister.
Good afternoon.
Your only degree is in political science, correct?
42 years ago, correct.
And you have no degree whatsoever from any academic institution in computer science, correct?
That's correct.
And you have no certifications in computer forensics, correct?
That's correct.
Good luck with this line of
Who gets
questioning.
those certifications? Fucking cops looking for promotions.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
This guy
Or they
just
sit around the whole
demonstrated-
class
On the
bullshitting
opinions
cop
you
stories.
testified today, you relied on no data except for the embedded Exif metadata to support those opinions, correct?
Incorrect.
What other data did you rely on for the opinions you testified to today?
Oh,
I was trying to explain
Yep.
that you kept it.
What other data did
Tell
you
him,
rely
just
on
tell
for
him.
the actual opinions you've been able to testify to today
just tell him.
besides Exif metadata?
The type of extraction that was performed? You're asking the question.
For the actual
that,
Yes.
opinions you
Yes.
testified
Let
to.
him just tell him.
that is what I would use. I would also use vector scopes.
Objection, Your Honor,
He's
that was
objecting
not
to-
responsive to my question, Your Honor.
If you want to encourage.
You asked him the question. What
Open
other
the door
data?
now. You kicked it open.
You open the door.
Kicked it
This is-
open.
This is, if I'm not mistaken, the same guy who objected to the answer to his own question the first time.
Because he's trying to play this sneaky game to suggest to mislead the jury that, oh, you know, you didn't
What a
rely on all
dumbass.
this other stuff that I excluded you that you can't talk
Oh
about.
my
I
gosh.
know you did rely on it, but I'm trying to hide behind this legal ruling that you don't get to bring it up to suggest that therefore you didn't
So you can
rely
answer
on
the
it.
question.
You can
Answer
answer
it.
the
You
question.
can answer the question.
Please answer it.
Can you restate the question?
Oh, he doesn't want to ask it now.
Your Honor, we can move on.
I don't
Your Honor,
recall.
maybe-
Oh, no, don't let him get away with that.
Redirect.
No. Answer the fuck.
What was the question?
Answer
Judy?
the question. Yep. You know what he's trying to do.
I believe the question was, what methodology did I use to make my findings?
Judy's voice has changed. That's,
Sorry.
is that correct, Judy? Okay.
Just let Judy find it.
Judy was watching Pirates of the Caribbean on her computer there for a minute.
That's funny.
That's fine. Okay.
That's
So-
fine.
When you're analyzing video or photo, in this
Objection to
case,
video, Your Honor, that's beyond the scope.
Nope. Sorry. You asked the question.
All right, if you could just answer the question, sir.
when
Just say
you're
photos.
analyzing a photo, a digital photo, you look at the Exif data, you use a vector scope, you can use a Pantone chart if that's available, and that should be done, but that's a whole different deal. If I go into that, you'll object to it. So you'd also
No,
use
go into it.
a waveform scope. You would use an RGB parade. You can use a histogram, though in this case, it's not really all that relevant.
You are not offering any opinions that any photograph in this case was intentionally modified by Ms. Hurd, correct?
I'm just stating the fact that photographs were modified.
So you are not offering any opinion that any photograph in this case was intentionally modified by Ms. Hurd, correct?
That's correct.
No further questions. Sit down, Junior.
Yeah,
Can you please pull up
Depp
exhibit-
modified to make himself look worse. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Is that defendants 170?
Defendants 170, yes, Your Honor. So you offer testimony regarding this photograph during the direct examination, right, Mr. Neumeister?
There's
That's a yes or no, sir.
the photograph like that. I don't exactly remember the photograph. There's so many different versions of this photograph, but yes, I talked
So many
about
doctored versions.
But do you recall being deposed in this matter?
Yes,
You were under
Nothing beats
Yes.
a good
That was on
expert.
April 6, 2022.
Nothing.
I believe.
Can I approach you, Your Honor?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
On redirect, they should push that color thing. They're not gonna. But man,
So, Mr. Neumeister, if you could please turn to page 76. And when I say pages, those are the little pages in the 4 boxes, not the
Oh,
page
gotcha.
at the top. And do you see page 76, line 3? You were asked on April 6th, anywhere in your April 1st, 2022 expert disclosure, do you offer any opinions regarding the authenticity or lack of authenticity of the specific photograph produced as ALH 7101? Response, can I refer to my report to see if that specific number is in the report? Yes. Response, not that specific photo. I just grabbed 3 out of the batch. Do you see that?
Yes.
Can you please pull up Exhibit 517 or Defendants 517?
Thank you.
You are not offering any opinions regarding this specific photograph, right, Mr. Neumeister?
That's correct. My testimony's been limited here.
no, now
And you are not offering any opinion that any photograph was visually doctored by Amber, correct?
Not by, I can't put the person who might have done it.
Well, you're not offering an opinion that a photo was visually doctored by anybody, are you?
yes, I
I'd
am.
have to see each photo. There's no way to authenticate any of these photos based on what I received.
So you testified about Photos 3. Do you recall that testimony?
Correct.
Yeah, Photos 3 is a photo editing and photo sorting application, correct?
It's a photo editor and photo sorter, as are a number of editors.
So when you reference Photos 3.0, you never did any independent strike that, Your Honor. So when the software of a photograph in the Exif metadata says Photos 3.0, that could be just saying that the photo was saved in Photos 3.0, correct?
No.
Unless you looked at a scope of the photos, that would tell you that the parameters of the photo do not meet that of the cell phone that it was taken on.
But the notation Photos 3.0 in the software Exif metadata, that does not in and of itself mean that the photo was edited in Photos 3.0, correct?
It means that you've recompressed the photo and it will not hash or digitally fingerprint with the original photo.
But it does not mean in and of itself that it was visually edited in any way in Photos 3.0, correct?
It was modified from
Again,
the original.
it's not the same photo because you're using lossy compression once you save it. So you have changed the photo.
So if you could please turn to page 233 of that transcript.
Is this Elaine's kid, this lawyer?
And line 20, do you see question? When it says
Oh,
exit
that was
software, okay,
cold.
Photos 3.0. On to 234. That's just saying it was saved in Photos 3.0, right? Response, saved in 3.0. That's correct. Question, that notation in and of itself does not mean that the photo was edited in 3.0, right? Answer, that's correct. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
A file has not changed visually just because it has been processed through Photos 3.0, correct?
That's incorrect.
That's incorrect.
Can you look at page 128 of your deposition, please? The bottom, line 20, question, you see, question, but the file changed visually just because it has been processed through Photos 3.0. Answer, obviously I understand what you're asking. From a technical point, yes, because of the compression. You get down to scopes and artifacts, yes, it has changed. Was it intentionally changed?
Object
We
to
don't
artifacts.
know. In other words, did somebody save it in there and just save the photo? We don't know. Did I read that correctly?
That's correct. But again, it says here.
That was my question, Mr. Anderson.
Camille.
So if the Exif metadata software field lists the software as iOS, you have no reason to dispute that, correct?
Incorrect.
Well, isn't data data? That's what you testified to, right?
It's very simple to modify Exif data.
Did you find any evidence in this case of actual modification of Exif metadata?
You can't authenticate any of these photos because of the way they were.
That wasn't my question, Mr. Neumeister. Did you find any evidence of any modification of Exif metadata of any photograph?
The 1974
Here,
metadata.
didn't listen to my answer. My answer is there is no way to know because of the way the files were presented.
So you found no actual evidence of it, correct?
That no one could.
I'm not asking if anyone else could, Mr. Neumeister. I'm asking, did you yourself find you found no evidence of
Is he
any
Marissa
modification
Tomei?
of Exif metadata of any photograph in this?
Look at
case?
Johnny.
Water.
Control the
Look at
narrative.
Johnny.
There's no way to answer that scientifically because no one
Didn't have posi-lock traction.
negatively answer that. It's not a question that can be answered.
It is a question, Mr. Neumeister. The question is, did you yourself, you found no affirmative evidence of any modification of software Exif metadata of any photograph in this case, correct? You found no actual evidence of that, did you?
No one could tell either way because.
I'm not asking about anyone else, Mr. Neumeister. I'm asking about you. Did you found no evidence?
It's
of
an
that, did you?
impossible
Objection,
question.
Your Honor, asked and answered.
He's not answered what he found, Your Honor.
Overruled.
There's not a way to answer that the way you're asking the question. You have to restate it you're trying to control.
Your Honor, he's not
the narrative.
responding to the
All right, could
question.
you just answer yes or no, sir, to the question?
No, I can't.
It's not a yes or no question.
Did you, yes or no, you found no evidence of Exif metadata modification of any photograph in this case, correct?
That's incorrect.
Okay.
There you go. Is that the answer you wanted?
He went and modified the question to end this case, and there's
In your
exit data
opinion,
from the
the
photos they didn't
metadata
use
of
that's
all
from
photographs
1974,
reported
before there
injuries
ever
that
was
Ms.
exit
Heard has
data.
identified as her trial exhibits do not indicate that the photographs went through a photo editing application, correct?
Well, first of all, that's not an yes or no question, because a lot of the exhibits that you have put up, they're not photographs. They're screen grabs, and they've been changed from a Apple format, which is JPEG, JPEG, to a JPG Microsoft format. So you have actually changed the exemplars. You've changed the data yourselves. We actually ran Exif data on some of your own examples that you've entered into evidence. They are not photos from an iPhone. Those were edited on a PC.
I'm going to
whoops.
hand
Move
up a
to
page
strike.
for your disclosure.
Someone said he could have said no to that question. He can't actually say no to that question. It's not true. And it's really important because the answer to can you tell if the Exif data was changed is, well, you just get the Exif data from what you're given. So there's not like a trail that can tell you that something was modified.
Yes.
It's like he's
You can-
holding up a sealed box and saying, you don't know that there's a beaver in this box, do you? Well, how would I know one way or the other?
Exactly. It's so the only
So do
way
you see on page 8 of your disclosure, Mr. Newmeister, it states, quote, the metadata of all of the photographs of purported injuries that Ms. Heard has identified as her trial exhibits do not indicate that the photographs went through a photo editing application. Did I read that correct?
That's correct.
No
But
further-
we're talking
no further
Exif
questions,
data.
Your Honor.
All right, redirect.
The ones
Redirect.
you picked out for trial. For this trial, let's talk about the ones you used in the UK, shall we?
A moment ago, Mr. Murphy was asking you some questions about your opinion about the trial exhibits that Ms. Heard has offered in this matter. And he asked you about your opinion that they don't indicate that they've gone through a photo editing application. What can you tell us about that?
Well, first of all, on this last exhibit, it says metadata, not Exif data. So that's two different things altogether. We're talking Exif data. And on the report, I put metadata because I was requested to cover meta and Exif data. So it's taken out of context. The Exif data is the data based that's embedded in the photo. Metadata can be the file data about the file itself, two different things. So the way the data was collected, it was an iTunes backup is a backup.
Objection, Your Honor. Backups.
He
outside
opened the
scope, Your Honor,
door.
ruling Beyond Exif metadata.
I think you opened the door on the.
I overruled the objection.
Thank
There
you.
it is.
Go ahead, Rick.
An iTunes backup is only a backup of things that are on an iPhone that have not been deleted. It does not have the critical operating system. It doesn't have any
I don't know
of
what
the
I'm
files
doing
that
well,
would
but
validate
anytime I get a
the
compliment
path
from
of a
Sully, I
photograph
take it.
in that phone. It does not have a lot of the log files. It does not have the knowledge C database, which talks about usage of the phone and the patterns of how data was handled. All it is the photos you decided to save, not the photos you deleted. So it's a very limited database. Without the system registry or without the system operating system, there's no way to tell, because it's very easy to modify a photo on a phone and have it just read iOS 9.3.1. But with the actual phone, if you were able to get a hold of the actual phone, and in 95% of all cases we work, we have the actual phones. It doesn't matter if the phones are 10 years old or 20 years old, or I mean, not 20 years old, but 10 years old. The reason is if people have something they want to keep as evidence, they don't throw out their phones. They don't recycle their phones. They save their phones. So people ask how we're doing phones on 13-year-old cases, because people do not throw out evidence. They keep the phone. So in a situation like this, there are no forensic extractions. In fact, the extractions we were provided were backups of iTunes, just exports. So it's third generation, and there is no way to verify the file paths and the history of any single photo that we've looked at.
Ooh.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right,
Oh,
thank you, sir.
that
You can
was
have a seat in the
brutal.
courtroom or you're free to go.
Thank you very much.
All right, your next witness.
We call Beverly Leonard by video link.
I need the TV. All right, just give us a moment to get the TV up.
Who's Beverly Leonard?
Yeah, who's this?
Any idea,
I've seen
Andrea?
this name. I don't know.
Okay, man. I mean, that Junior kicked open the door. I think.
That
I
was
wish
great.
the expert. I wish the expert would have just answered about the color
is he talking
correction
about
when he
me?
first asked him.
Didn't he
'cause
pay
that would've been
attention?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh shit. I don't know why Sky News's thing seems to have gone down. Let me make sure we've got.
Uh-oh.
Just a second. Live view went down.
What's live view?
Let me check. I'm checking other sources. Everybody's using this. All the news stations are using this live view feed, which, by the way, I'm trying to provide an update from a long time ago. I inquired. Yeah, everybody's down right now. I inquired about obtaining a live view feed, and the live view people who would have been trying to take thousands of dollars from me to get it wouldn't answer my question. So
That's
which
weird.
was very annoying. I was asking them what package I needed to purchase.
Guys,
to get
Nick
the good
Cato is
stuff
awesome.
to do the stream, and they
Go to his channel and
do it.
subscribe.
Here we go.
Of course,
Well,
he
we'll
has
pull up this one for
400,000
now.
subscribers, so he doesn't need the subscriptions as much as I do. So
Try to count to 5 one more time. I'm just trying to get you on the TV screen. On the TV screen.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, the lessons we learned in COVID, correct? Okay. All right, your first question.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Ms. Leonard.
Good afternoon.
Would you please state
female
your full
cop.
name for the
who
record?
is this?
Beverly R. Leonard.
Where are
Oh,
you
that goes
testifying
over your
from?
face, Andrea. Dang it.
I'm testifying from my home in Arizona.
Are you familiar with the defendant in this matter, Amber Heard?
Yes, I am.
And how are you familiar with her?
She was a stripper.
I met her in 2009 at SeaTac International Airport.
She's the cop. She's the cop.
At the
Oh,
airport.
shit.
I worked there.
What happened when you met Ms. Heard in 2009?
I was in the baggage claim area and I observed her with a traveling companion, and they got into an altercation where Ms. Heard had grabbed her traveling companion and pulled something from her neck. At that point, I got up and went over to try to break up what appeared to be a fight.
Are they not going to let us?
And I summoned a colleague to help me, and I stepped in between them and separated them, stopping any further injuries or escalation.
How would you describe the interaction between Ms. Heard and her traveling companion?
Ms. Heard was aggressive towards her traveling companion, and she had reached up and grabbed her arm and pulled a necklace off of her, and then I observed her having it in her hand. She seemed to be not very steady on her feet. Her eyes were blurry and watery, and I could smell alcohol.
What was Ms. Heard's traveling companion's reaction to being assaulted by Ms. Heard?
Objection, relevance? And I'll sustain the objection.
On relevance? Yes. Okay.
Ah!
What did Ms. Heard's traveling companion do?
She raised her hands in what appeared to be a defensive manner. But other than that, she was pretty stoic and didn't really respond much. Her stature was 2 or 3 inches taller than Ms. Heard, so she didn't really need to have to defend herself.
How would you describe Ms. Heard's demeanor when you stepped in between Ms. Heard and her traveling companion?
She was somewhat dismissive. She just said, we're just having an argument. We're fine. We're fine. Because I was asking if they were okay. Are you okay? Is there anything wrong? What's going on? And
Objection, hearsay. Just objection, hearsay to what she's saying.
All right. I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
What, if any, injuries did you observe on Ms. Heard's traveling
What, if
companion?
any?
She had abrasion on the side of her neck where the necklace was, like a rope burn from the chain as it was removed.
How did you come to testify in this trial?
I sat down in front of a computer.
Became aware of this situation, specifically this trial, because I was sent an email anonymously. I don't even know who it came from, asking.
Objection, hearsay.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
That sounded desperate the way she said
When
objection.
you got that email.
How would you generally describe Ms. Heard's behavior on the occasion you met her in 2009?
Objection, Your Honor. I already asked and answered the specifics.
What?
You locked up.
No, they froze.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Law and crime locked up. Of course.
Well,
Everyone else is down.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Cross-examination.
Ms. Leonard, when
We're gonna
did
get
you contact counsel for Mr. Depp?
Late last night.
Late last night.
Oh, damn.
Okay. And this happened in 2009, correct?
Yes.
13 years ago, correct?
Yes.
And you know that this trial is being televised, right?
Yes.
And so you know that if you have something that might be significant to say, that way you can get on television, right?
Oh, like this woman is looking for a TV break.
No, I had no desire to be
Oh
on
my
television.
gosh.
I actually waited for a call and wondered why I hadn't been contacted.
All right. But you reached out and contacted them last night, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right. Any redirect?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right.
Last
Thanks,
night.
Ms. Leonard. You're free to sign off. Thank you.
That's all you've got?
All right.
That's it?
That's
All
it.
right. Your next witness.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Sure.
Another approach.
Ron, our next witness is a mackerel.
Ah!
I wonder who Emily Baker's using. Let me see.
At this point, Emily should just do a hostile takeover of Law and Crime.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah, some videos are down and some are up. I'm not sure what the distinction is between them. But it's with the source feed from LiveView. I guess I'm glad I didn't give them like $18,000 for this. Because I would be fucking pissed now.
Hey, you're at 79 grand plus a couple hundred, Nick. On YouTube.
Oh yeah, we were at 85 for a while.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's been crazy numbers today. Let's see. But yeah, so they got she couldn't say she was a cop, but the clear implication was that she was from I called a colleague over, I observed this, I observed that. She sounded like a cop. I'm guessing the jury probably made the inference on that one. Too bad she couldn't say I arrested her.
Yeah.
That would have been the icing on the cake.
Took her to jail, booked her, fingerprinted
Yeah.
her, photographed her. Wrote a report, submitted it to the prosecuting attorney.
Let's see. What are you pulling this from? I'm looking at different streams. Legal Bites is pulling it from somewhere. I'm not sure where. The only places I've found that are up have a ton of branding on them, which I'm only prepared for one branding, and that's this one.
I noticed they moved Camille to the back table there, and now they have the young blonde attorney keeping things fresh for Johnny, I guess.
Camille might be doing the next examination because she's been up sitting next to him all day.
Yeah.
But she might be doing the next.
Yeah, she did the one with the cop.
Yeah, so that's why she was just sitting back at the table there for objections. And she may be doing the next person. I don't know who the next person will be.
Yeah, the attorney next to Depp now, unfortunately, I don't recall her name, but she did a very good job the other day.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to go. I found Anne's stream that is functional. So I'm going to pull that one up. Let's see. Change the branding.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're still on track to have closing arguments on Friday morning. But the plaintiff only has one more witness in rebuttal. And then since we have a counterclaim, the defense has a chance to have rebuttal for their counterclaim. And so you'll hear the remaining witnesses tomorrow on that. So since we don't have anything further today, I'm going to go ahead and release you at this point. Do not discuss the case with anybody. Don't do any outside research. And we'll see you back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Okay?
There we go.
Nice to get a time summary at this point.
She usually gives one at the end of the day once the jury leaves. Man, that's an even earlier day than yesterday. I wonder who the one last witness is going to be.
I think it's the flight attendant. At least that's
Oh,
who was
yeah.
announced. The flight attendant.
Okay.
It'd be smart if they brought her
Right,
into
and
court.
then for
rather than
the
video.
record, charge the plaintiff the remaining time till 5:30. The plaintiff has 7 hours and 8 minutes left as of this moment. And the defendant has 1 hour and 16 minutes left, right? So we're on the same page. Okay, and jury instructions, we get clean copies today?
Yes, Your Honor. So I think we just received their comments around noon today, but we've had someone not in the court who's been looking at those and I think has narrowed down the areas of disagreement and either is sending or has sent Sammy an email that sets forth the few remaining issues of disagreement. But largely, I think we're mostly there, but I haven't had a chance to read what they said.
Mostly, okay. So I have everything, so I don't have everything quite yet then.
It's not finalized.
Okay, but I will get it sometime this evening.
There,
We have an hour now. You can stay in the courtroom and work it out. How about that?
we're happy to address those. I think we need an opportunity to see what we sent them our comments 2 days ago. We just got it.
I
3 hours
understand,
ago,
but we have some extra time right now, so nobody leaves until I get my jury instructions. How's that?
That's fair.
I like that. Okay, we'll do that, and the verdict form also. And then, if I could read Sammy's handwriting, I'd tell you exactly what he's saying. Sammy, what are you saying here? Oh, yes, we got the 3 jury instructions that are under advisement, so we'll address those tomorrow as well, okay? And we'll work on Sammy's penmanship. All right, anything else?
So to be clear, Your Honor wants to hear the disputes right now or tomorrow?
We could, I don't think you know what the disputes are yet.
Right.
So I'll hear the disputes tomorrow. Okay. Well, yeah, we could do those at some point tomorrow. Sounds like we're gonna have some extra time tomorrow. So we'll take care of those tomorrow, but I want everything today. I want to know what those disputes are and have what you have.
Johnny's the one to
And
blame.
that's what I'm saying. I think that
Not her.
by 5,
He's-
you will get.
Okay.
what the
Her
disputes are.
damages for
Okay,
putting her
for
through all
everything,
this.
right? Okay, so just stay here until
For
we
both.
get all that,
Yeah.
for everything. Okay, great. Anything else then?
No,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
we'll
Thank
see you in the morning. Thank you.
All right, that's recess. That's it. All right. So, guys,
Well, there we go.
what do you think? We made it through.
All around, I think a pretty good day for Team Depp.
Oh, that was a fun day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
a fun day.
They really built this thing into
Like, I just want Johnny on the stand all the time. The guy kills it, man. He just absolutely kills it. I'm wondering if he won't be cast in a movie where he plays a lawyer now. I mean, he just kills it. He controls the courtroom when he's up there. He has everybody's attention. He's telling the lawyers how a procedure works. I'm telling you, the guy is phenomenal. So that was just absolutely incredible. That was awesome. Other than that, guys, I'm going to be jumping off. You guys need to go have some fun. There's some fun left in the day. It is almost 5 o'clock Eastern. Oh, man, I just ate peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm supposed to be having dinner here with my wife shortly. Oh, boy. I didn't think about that. You know, that's the thing about being a guy. When you're hungry, you eat. You don't think about what time it is or what you're eating. You just go do it. Oh, well, I mowed the yard today, so I'm going to get extra Scooby snacks. Well, listen, guys, love y'all. Don't forget we'll do a nightcap tonight. What do you say? I like to do them at 10, but we'll do 10. We're going to shoot for 10, and if that doesn't work out, we'll do 10:30. 10's good, though. 10's a good time. That gives everybody time to have fun. So, anyway, wait, Joe comes on. Joe Neerman comes on at 10. Oh, man. There's so much stuff happening all the time. I don't know what I'm doing. I need to have one at 9, from like 9 to 10. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. I gotta figure that out. I don't know. You guys think about it. Send me a message. Let me know what's going on. What do y'all think? Let's work on some schedules. Now that I got some extra time to focus on the channel, let's figure out some schedules. I gotta do videos, man. I mean, I know videos aren't views. The algorithm's going towards live, but I get so many people enjoy the videos, and I don't want to stop that. And it's always good content. I want to be like Nick Ricada, who just listened to. He says his goal is to have so much content that you never run out. And that's my goal. I mean, it should be your goal. It should be everybody's goal. It's to be as much as you can be, do as much as you can. I love this stuff. I don't have an opportunity to be real. So, I mean, the idea of doing anything else but this is crazy to me at this point. So, anyway, listen, I love you guys. Thanks for stopping by. I had fun. Oh, wait. Hold on. I'm going to do this real quick. I want to show you. I want to leave you guys on. Put a little bad taste in your mouth here. Let's see here. Oh, I got to do a video on Led Zeppelin. I cannot believe Ricada didn't know that. Where's that go? It's not there. Aha. Ah! Oh, wait, hold on. I don't want to with me. Ah! Ah! Oh my gosh, can you believe she used to be a stripper? Can you believe we learned that today? I'm already looking for the video. I'm already looking for it. Anyway. Mitchell, you say you are real. I'm like, usually that's followed with pain in the ass. But anyway. Listen, guys. We'll be back later. Get some sleep. Get some rest. That's what I was going to do by mowed the yard. And, oh, man. Did I tell you guys about doing yoga yesterday? holy cow. Like I was planning on doing it again today, but the yard counts as yoga now. Man, let me tell you what. 4 months, 5 months, sitting in a hospital room for 8 hours a day. I have no muscles. I have turned into the jellyfish. So, yeah, it sucks. But anyway, I'm gonna go take a shower before the rabbit gets home. I have this thing that I don't want to be stinky when she sees me. She already has enough to hate. Anyway, guys, listen. Thanks for stopping by. It's been fun. It always is. Don't let the haters get you down. Sully, I promise you we're going to have a fun stream. So you can get your mind off all that stupid stuff. All these things are happening over in the true crime community is crazy. Go check out, don't forget to check out Grim, Spar, Cool Frog, of course, man. Cool Frog is basically, he runs my chat over here. I knows it runs so much smoother when he's in. God, there's so many people. I could be nonstop just thanking you guys. Check out Dictionary Diva has her own page now. Oh my gosh, we've got to get her. We got to rein her in. We got to be like, honey, just content. And I'm going to challenge her. I'm going to be like, okay, look, you got to do as many hours as I do. So I'm kidding. Her stuff's great. And we need to get her and I don't know, man. There's so many people I'm thinking about right now who we could get together. But anyway, listen, guys. I just can't get off here. I enjoy this. I love seeing you guys over here. I love whenever Mitchell's here. I'm like, all right, dude, now let's talk about this. And we just go to it. It's just fun, man. This is, hang on, wait, did I take my thing down? I think I did. I had that picture of King of the Hill. And that's what it feels like. We're just hanging out in the alley going, yep. Anyway, guys, I'll see y'all later. And be safe out there. Don't let the boogeyman get you, okay? Godspeed.